This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Everybody look at Al. He's not ready. His mask is on.
His mask is on.
Not ready.
Show his mask.
Fix your mask, Al.
I've been here for a long time.
I know, he just can't get it in. Because he wears 3 masks to work, which is very safe.
Very safe.
A lot to take off.
We love you. Take your time. The camera will go on me. All right. Welcome to DBL, everyone. It is Wednesday, February 24th. I'm Tori here with Al and Lindsay. Let's get
Ready now.
You ready?
Yes.
Good to know. All right, we've been following the latest for everyone on Tiger Woods' horrible rollover car crash. The golf legend is awake, responsive, and recovering from a shattered leg. Surgeons inserted a rod with pins and screws to rebuild his shin and calf bones. The road he was driving on in LA is notorious for accidents. I've actually known people that have crashed in that spot. TMZ Sports got this video just before the crash showing Tiger in the SUV traveling along the winding roads minutes before the first responder on the scene described on the Today Show what it was like discovering that it was Tiger in that car. Take a look.
I asked him, hey, can you tell me your first name? He looked at me and he said, Tiger. and it took me a half second, but I saw his face, and I thought, oh yeah, you're Tiger Woods.
Wow, there are reports that Tiger was in a rush to meet NFL players Drew Brees and Justin Herbert for a golf TV tee time before the crash. And many are wondering what his injuries will mean for his career now. I know his ankle is also really, really badly injured. What I thought was so interesting was the amount of coverage we got yesterday. Like, it was nonstop, 24 hours. Everyone led with it. Everyone talked about it. And you realize what an icon Tiger is. And we grew up with Tiger. I mean, he was like 3 when he started. So I thought, is Tiger sort of, he's like the Michael Jordan of golf. What does Tiger Woods mean to you, I guess, Al?
I mean, he's a transcendent figure.
Yeah.
Obviously, in golf, I think the first time that, honestly, people that weren't of a certain class, golf was considered a very elitist sport just because it's expensive to play. The equipment is expensive. But let me just say this, Tori. Everybody's wondering about where his career will go with this. I hope it's over. I hope his career is over.
Because his body is like falling apart.
It's his body,
Yeah.
but also it seems to be his mind. I watched a documentary, and he seemed like a person that was just starting to figure out that there's more to life than golf. It seemed like a person that was completely equipped for golf and nothing else.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods is going to have 60-some years to spend on this planet, and we've seen what happened to athletes, Lindsay, that are unable to transition into regular life.
That's an interesting take. You hope
I
it's over.
really hope that he's done.
I think the conversation about what is he going to do next in his career is so abrupt, when really, did you guys see that car? He's lucky to be alive. When I saw that and saw that he's just alive, I'm like, that's enough to me to just say thank
stop
God.
right there.
Because the story would have overwhelmingly been that Tiger Woods, something worse happened, and that would be a story that we would be talking about for the rest of the year. And so I'm happy that he's okay and recovering, and we're getting reports that were kind of extreme in the beginning that are pulling back a little bit, saying that he's more healthy than we thought he was in the beginning.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank God he's alive, first off. And I watched that documentary too, and he seemed to have compartmentalized his world into golf and nothing else. I completely agree. Maybe that is a good thing that he can step away for a second. Someone said they did see him speeding out at a really high speed, and that combined with that turn, it's just not good. So we are wishing him all the best. Conspiracy theories, huh? We know about them, right? They're nothing new. Well, they've definitely become more common lately, am I right? Now, the latest conspiracy theory that's taken off on TikTok is about the snowstorms in Texas last week. They claim that the snow that fell from the sky was actually planted by the government. Some have even put this, quote, government snow to the test in certain videos, like this one that's been viewed more than 3 million times.
Someone said do it with a blow dryer. Plugged in, on. Go get snow. Here we go. Highest setting, hot. Not melting.
What the?
No drip.
No drip.
No drip. Not dripping. Still a snowball.
Boom.
So there's another video where she actually tries to melt a snowball with a candle flame, but the snowball itself turns black. So that's weird. What's going on with the snow, right? And why are people so quick to think that the government is responsible? Well, it turns out there's an explanation in science, and it's called sublimation. Sublimation, excuse me. I should have asked the pre-med person who had his mask on when we started, which is when a solid like snow or ice skips the liquid phase and goes directly to gas. That's why you're not seeing any drops coming off the snowball. It's just becoming water vapor. But it does lead you to believe for a second, if you first saw that video, wouldn't you have been like, whoa, I get the inkling of it.
I think there's a reason why me particularly, I majored in journalism, because this was like, whoa, we need Dr. Coley. I don't know what's going on. Like, I looked at that video and I was like, huh? Because I know I touched many snowballs that melted in my hand. So I don't know what's going on here. And I know it's not funny because conspiracy theories go a long way. People saying Bill Gates did this, the government did this. But I understand initially watching this on TikTok why people are like believing conspiracy theories. And I got caught up. Yes, you do. You go on YouTube and you end up in a vortex and watch like 20 reasons backing up the lie that they're telling in these conspiracy theories.
Lindsay, first of all, she should take that hairdryer and finish her hair.
She should finish her hair. It wasn't done.
That's the real problem I see here. Honestly, I look at these things with the government. First of all, my question is whether you've paid attention in science class, which clearly she did not, which is fine. I've had many students like that. Like, how did the government also make it cold? How did they do that? That's a little fun fact. What I don't understand about this, what I really worry about is these are funny, but these are also huge distractions. Instead of talking about the fact that in 2011, Texas had a cold snap in which the power grid failed, and they had 10 years to prepare for this, but they didn't. They went ahead and privatized it, so they did nothing to prepare for this. So it happened again, and they're going to let the government off the hook because they're going to say the government is so powerful that they're making fake snow instead of our government is so inept that they were unable to prepare our citizens even though they had 10 years to do so.
Well said, well said. The good thing about conspiracy theories is they're easily solved with science. With science.
Who knew? Oh, everyone. Okay.
Coming up on DBL, the Newlywed Game's Bob Eubanks is right here on DBL. He's sharing memories from his time on the game show that made up the fabric of so many people's lives.
I remember doing that show with him.
Really?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun on set.
Oh, man. And a mom's sexy social media post got her kids expelled from Catholic school. We got to talk about this. Should they be punished for their mother's actions? That's next. Stop laughing. Stop laughing.
Cherie! Cherie! You in that fat butt? Cherie!
Shadow Stevens and Hello Square.
I'll agree with that.
That's it. I don't know why, but circle gets a square.
At DBL, we're always on.
I'm in control. Trying to give a conversation up here.
Shouldn't he be held accountable?
Absolutely.
This is where I'm going to push back.
Is this my shocked face?
Tori, I will walk off the set.
You should.
This February, DBL is all new.
I agree with Al on this one.
Every day.
Yeah, wow, I said it, Tori. Yo. I'm in control.
Welcome back to DBL. A big shout out to our coworkers tuning in from home during the pandemic. We miss you. I haven't seen some of their faces in a year. That is
looking right at 'em.
Crazy. I'm looking right at them.
In real life.
In real life. Thank you, Lindsay. IRL. All right. Well, a California mom says her 3 young kids were expelled from their Catholic school after her racy pics were discovered online. Now, we have a warning. Some of these images contain adult content. Crystal Jackson says she makes
How is she not a black woman?
Stop it.
Come on. Lindsay, have you ever met a white woman named Crystal Jackson?
I know a black girl named Crystal Jackson.
She should be helping you at the DMV.
Crystal.
You need 2 forms of ID.
She's a good
Crystal's the best name ever.
No way. This white woman's name is Crystal Jackson.
Okay. Crystal Jackson says she makes more than $150,000 a month. You heard me right. $150,000 a month posting photos like these on the subscription-based site OnlyFans. But after a group of moms found out about her side gig, they informed the school, and some even sent the photos to the principal and church officials. Crystal said her kids should not be punished for her pictures, which were taken by her husband. Camera. Still, the school says her involvement in the adult website is in direct conflict with its values. BS. Why are the kids punished here? That is so unfair. This is a legal, consensual site. She's done nothing wrong, and yet the kids will be punished for this. How is that right in anybody's mind?
I feel like moms are, and I'm saying this because I have mom friends that tell me these stories. They're super judgy against one another when it comes to schools and how you're raising your kids. Mom shaming is a real thing that's like trending all over on
Sam
Facebook.
talks about
You'll see these conversations. It's like, well, I didn't do this. Why didn't you do this with your kid? And so for moms to take those pictures off social media or off of her OnlyFans and send them to the principal and to church, basically saying this is how you should behave when she's a grown woman with a husband taking pictures of her, you know, I think that that's really obnoxious. And then for the kids to be punished is really extreme.
What if it was in the rules, right? So the Catholic schools, like your whole family has to abide by certain moral values. She clearly didn't abide by that. Do you see it okay to be punished by that?
I don't know what we're talking about punish. I mean, if the kids are out of school, you can move. And you know where you're going to move? Rack City, all right? She's making $150,000 a month from that. You can homeschool your kids for that.
Yeah, but that's...
Who cares?
I think
Who cares?
No, they want the kids still want the kids still have friends that they want to hang out with
the
and
dignity
see
of
their
being
kids.
expelled.
When you were a kid, you didn't think about being homeschooled when you were in a school with your friends. If you just got pulled out of that lifestyle.
When I'm in my private pool, I'll be crying. Look, $150,000 a month, Lindsay. If this is the only punishment, it's unfair. It's misogynistic, even when it comes from women. But honestly, if you're weighing the pros and cons of the situation, I feel like she came out on the positive end.
Well, I'm glad she's making this public because at some point I just don't understand why the kids are punished for something the mother did that, let me remind you, is legal, consensual, and done by a loving husband. You can come at me and I know you will.
What about moms that do many of different careers, like pole dancing or anything? Are they going to also get their kids taken out of school? Like, she was fully dressed. She had on undergarments that you see every celebrity
she
in.
Was baking.
You see advertisements for Victoria's Secret, and I'm confused.
Yeah.
Lawsuit.
It could be defamation.
It's also great advertisements as well.
For OnlyFans?
That's going up to $200K.
No,
$200K
for cooking, Tori. Yeah. Yes.
For cooking.
Yeah, for OnlyFans. I got it. I'm on board. Coming up on DBL, we're throwing it way back with game show host Bob Eubanks. Oh yeah, he's right here on DBL and talking about his iconic run on the Newlywed Game.
This
Freezing temperatures and winter weather can mean more than just power outages and burst pipes. It could also mean more potholes. Let's connect the dots. Winter weather is one of the main causes of the dreaded pothole. That's because roads are more than just asphalt on the surface. That is just the top layer. Underneath is a thick layer of rocks and soil. Sometimes when it rains, that water can seep below the asphalt. When freezing temperatures hit, the water under the road's surface expands, shifting stuff around, and when it melts, the pressure from something like, say, a car can cave in the pavement, creating a pothole. It gets really bad when you get into a cycle of freezing and thawing. The afternoon sun can melt the water while colder temperatures at night freeze it again. It creates a cycle where the subsurface of the road is constantly shifting and can create some pretty massive potholes. And while salt can help keep ice and snow off roads, it can also make the pothole problem worse. That's because it lowers the freezing temperature of water, which means you can sometimes increase the frequency of the freezing and thawing cycle when extreme cold hits. All this can lead to a pretty bumpy ride by the time spring arrives.
More urban or rural?
I don't know what they mean. Heck, he's urban.
He's urban.
Yeah.
How long has he been that way?
For about 2 months.
2 months he's been. you think there's anything he can do about it?
He went to a doctor.
Oh, he did?
I can't get enough of that show. Welcome back to DBL. That was Bob Eubanks, host of the iconic game show, The Newlywed Game. We caught up with him earlier. It's fantastic. Check it out.
There he is.
Yes.
Welcome to DBL. Of course, Bob, you hosted the show off and on for 5 decades, and it really became such a huge hit because, as we just saw, people were hysterical, and they would tell you anything. How did you get people to open up like that?
Well, I found out that if you laugh at people, they give you nothing. But if you laugh with people, they will just keep talking and talking and talking. And I just learned I could get an answer from one couple, and I would watch the other couple, and I could tell by their responses and their body language and such that I was going to get something pretty funny from them. So I just learned how to make people talk. But no, I didn't meet them before the show. I didn't want them to feel that comfortable.
Bob, I got to tell you, it's an honor talking to you, man. You are a true legend. So thanks for joining us here on DBL. But,
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Oh, well, it's great for me. Bob, I got to ask you, with everything being so sensitive these days and everybody with the cancel culture, do you feel like a show like this could work today, or would you have to tweak a lot of things involved?
Well, you know, things have progressed, I guess, maybe not progressed, but have moved forward. When I started, they wanted me to say make love, and I wouldn't say it. Because I didn't think you should have to explain that to your children until you were ready to do so. So Sinatra had a hit record called Making Whoopee. And I came to them, I said, hey, let's just call it Whoopee. And it could be anything at that point. So that's how Whoopee became a 4-letter word, really.
And well, I'll tell you this, as a parent, we appreciate you saving us an awkward conversation. So thank you for that. Now, obviously, this show was created back in the '60s when it was a very, very different time. But you actually, showed this. You sold the show, which is almost impossible. It's unheard of, without a pilot. How did you do that? How did you walk in and just say, "This is the show. You need to imagine it"?
All right. You may not like this, but here we go. The boys from New York flew out to see what this format looked like. Chuck Barris invented the Newlywed Game. And we had to sit in an auditorium, and I had 4 couples there. And couple number 1 was an unknown comedian named Dom DeLuise and his wife, Carol. But what sold the show, down at the end, was a cute little blonde. Now, remember, this is 1964. Television was real quiet. And I said, what's your favorite nickname for your husband? And she said, Nun Nuts. And the ABC boys got up, went upstairs, and bought the show without a pilot.
You know magic when you see it.
Answer.
That's awesome.
Hey, Bob. Bob, I always love getting like little behind-the-scenes tidbits. Is there a story that was really funny that didn't make air, maybe too controversial? Maybe you couldn't go there, it kind of sticks out in your head?
Well, you know, there's that famous story about where's the strangest place you ever made whoopee, and the lady gave an answer. But I'm telling you, 10 times a week people will say, "Oh, I saw that." They didn't see it because it didn't get on the air. You see, she said this terrible thing. I said, "No, no, no," and it was a lady from New Jersey, and I said, "No, you can't say that. I need a location." She said, "Oh, okay."
Yes. We actually have that clip. We found it. Here it is.
Well, it never made the air, though.
Girls, tell me where specifically is the weirdest place that you personally, girls, have ever gotten the urge to make whoopee?
In the
No, what I'm talking about is the weirdest location, the weirdest place.
location.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bob, okay, so clearly you meant location as in geography, not a body part.
Yeah.
What went through your mind, and why did it become like this urban legend?
Well, everybody, you know, manufactured what she said, but we all know what she said. And I got calls from NASA You know, they were having a meeting and they said, did that really happen? I think, you gotta be kidding me. Go to the moon, for God's sakes. You know?
That's funny.
It was just crazy, you know? But I will tell you, if I learned how to make them talk, I learned that if you stare at them, if you don't put them down, you make them feel comfortable, they'll just rattle on and on and on. And one of the problems that I have with game show hosts of today is if they're actors or comedians, they have a real rough time letting the contestant be funny or the format being funny. I produced Buddy Hackett's You Bet Your Life television show one time. And if someone made a funny line on camera, he couldn't stand it. He would go after them and nail them. And that's not a criticism, by the way. It's just comedians and actors are stars, and they will not let anybody else become a star on the camera.
Truly are a legend. Thank you so much, Bob Eubanks. We appreciate you.
As you just saw, we had such a good conversation with Bob that we totally ran out of time and didn't get a chance to talk with him about what he's up to now. Well, it turns out he's teamed up with this product. It looks so cool. The 60s Up Balance Board. Bob said it's changed his life. He's much steadier on his feet and able to golf again. For more information, go to 60up.com. We'll be right back. He looks good.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
I'm so excited for this interview. Joining us is legendary music photographer Rob Shanahan. So let me just ask you the main question. How does one go from being this kid in a small town Minnesota place to becoming the personal photographer of Ringo Starr? There wasn't like a posting in the paper. Like, how did you get there?
Well, it all goes back to dreams.
Pretty soon we're going to be leaving the cold and the snow behind as we enter warm weather and springtime. And for a lot of us, that means allergies. But amid a COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people on social media are wondering how to tell the symptoms apart. So let's verify. How can we tell the difference between COVID-19 symptoms and allergies? Here are our sources. Dr. Greg Poland, the director of the Mayo Vaccine Research Clinic, and Dr. Sarah Narayan, an allergist at Allergy West in Massachusetts.
It's a great question, and what I like about it is it's a really practical question that people are going to have to grapple with.
Let's look at the symptoms like this in a Venn diagram between those likely from allergies but not COVID, those likely with COVID but not allergies, and those that can pop up with both.
On the allergy side, we're listing sneezing, we're listing itchy, watery eyes,
itchy nose. Those are not features of COVID.
On the COVID side, I would list the fever,
shortness of breath, diarrhea, joint and muscle aches, loss of taste and smell.
Those are all things that we rarely see with allergies.
And then in the middle, which could happen with either one, would be other mild symptoms that somebody might have, like fatigue or headache.
Can just feel yucky.
And if you're feeling those symptoms in the middle of the Venn diagram, our experts say you should start with allergy meds.
If taking allergy medication relieves your symptoms, that's highly unlikely to be COVID related.
And of course, if you want to be 100% sure, you could always just take a COVID test to make sure you're negative. Reporting with your Verify, this is Evan Kozlov.
This February, DBL is all new every day.
No, hold on.
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Really? Okay. Like, it is such a joke. I was shocked. How I meant for you to chime in on. I don't know what you're saying.
DBL is just getting started.
Here come the Pistons.
I love this story. Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year.
Welcome back to DBL. How far can your car actually make it after the empty gas light comes on? I have always wanted to know.
Mine went pretty far.
Everyone says pretty far, but I bet it's not. We're chatting about it in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. All right, first, every car's different, but you generally have between 30 to 50 miles of gas left after the light comes on. Second, don't always trust the miles to empty reading. It's only an approximation. And lastly, think of where you are on the road when the light comes on. If you're stuck on the freeway, you'll be consuming more gas than usual. For peace of mind, get an auto protection plan from CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free
I am having a flashback.
What happened?
You know that I drive from Denver to LA to see my kids because I can't fly. And so you drive through Utah, and it's beautiful. It's a great drive. No gas station.
Yeah, there's no gas.
And I realized that because it's the mountain. There's no place to pull up for gas. And so, I'm just driving, and where you're like, I'm at a half a tank, I should stop. And there's just no gas stations. Then you're at E. And you're like, this is not good. Should I turn around? And, I learned my lesson the hard way. But, you need to plot out gas stations, especially in the American, Southwest, because there's nowhere to stop.
I'm so glad you're a dad, but didn't realize Utah had not a lot of gas stations.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the first thing I thought about when I thought about Utah, is their number of gas stations along I-70.
You're driving, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Think about the gas.
Beat him while he's down.
Sorry, DBL's new every day.
Lindsay.
We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.
About today on Daily Blast Live.
New details on Tiger Woods as he recovers from a horrible crash. Plus, a first responder describes the heart-stopping moments on scene.
He told me his name was Tiger, and at that moment I immediately recognized him.
A mom with an OnlyFans account says her kids were kicked out of school over her racy online photos. Was it bullying by other parents that led to this? Our classic game show hosts' Where Are They Now series continues with John Davidson from Hollywood Squares. He's live on DBL today. And a special edition of True Crime Chronicles with JonBenet Ramsey's half-brother speaking out. Will her killer ever be caught?
To that person that might know something, this is not your burden to carry.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, February 24th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Miss Erica joining us from home. Okay, so we've been following the latest on Tiger Woods' horrible rollover crash. The golf legend is awake, responsive and recovering from a shattered leg. Surgeons inserted a rod with pins and screws to rebuild his shin and calf bones as well as his ankle. The road he was driving on in LA is notorious for accidents. TMZ Sports got this video just before the crash, showing Tiger in the SUV traveling along the winding road minutes before. Now, the first responder on the scene described on the Today Show what it was like discovering it was Tiger. Take a look.
I asked him, you know, hey, can you tell me your first name? He looked at me and he said, Tiger. And it took me a half second, but I saw his face and I thought, oh yeah, you're Tiger Woods.
So there are reports that Tiger was in a rush to meet NFL players Drew Brees and Justin Herbert for a golf TV tee time before the crash. And many are wondering what his injuries will mean for his career now. What do you think, Al?
I hope it's the end of his career.
What do you mean?
I hope it's the end of
Why?
his career. I'll tell you why. I watched that Tiger Woods documentary, and it seemed like a person that had golf down pat. That's all he knows, and he is arguably the best person to ever do golf. We got that part of his life. But if you watch that documentary, you also saw that there was a lot of voids. He had issues with relationships with women. He was kind of distant with his kids. He was distant from the other golfers. He was detached from life. I hope now, Jeff, that this is his excuse, his reason, even if he needs to be pushed out of the door, to get ready to do the next 2/3 of his life, which is having more money than he can spend, having beautiful children, and having somebody that he cares about, and working on his addictions day to day. So he's entertained me enough. He's entertained the world enough. Now it's time for him to live his life.
See, I kind of think the opposite, man. First of all, the documentary he wasn't a part of, which I have a problem with. I've said it on the show before. Second of all, I think it's such a big part of his life that he needs it to move on. He needs a goal to recover from this, right? I'm a big Tiger fan. I'm a fan of what he did in the sport, I should say. And he's going to recover from this. He had multiple back surgeries. He came back and won the Masters. He needs this. He needs a goal in his life. With golf, it's not like you're putting your body through football, Al. He could golf on his senior tour. He doesn't have to be a top 100 player. As long as it's in his life, that's what his son's doing right now. As long as he's there for his son to teach him a little bit, I hope he recovers. I hope everything's right. But we were touching on this earlier, Sam, the addiction part of it.
Yeah, what I'm worried about, Erica, is, you know, one of the things that I look at Tiger for inspiration is how, you know, just recently we learned what a treacherous and tumultuous road it's been for him, considering all the surgeries he has had, which he has said, his very own words, led to the addiction to painkillers. So now that he's going to be coming out of this hospital with excruciating pain, he's going to have to rely on those painkillers again. So I just hope that he has the right support around him so that he does not see history repeat itself.
I just think it's too early to really make such broad speculations, especially about someone who has a past with addiction. That was the first thing that everyone
It's never too early. It's never too early with people with addiction.
Well, I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, when we're having this conversation now, there's a lot of factors that we don't know for sure, and I think that it actually does it doesn't do a great service to anyone who has struggled with addiction or anything else, because the automatic implication is that this is what happened because this was their past. If there's a road to redemption, then why do we always have to bring up every past thing that happened to someone in order to justify what's happening today?
Well,
I
let
don't
me clarify
think that's
what I
fair.
said, because I never painted a picture that he currently is using, and I'm very delicate with that when it comes to addiction. So let me clear that statement.
I think we were saying it more in concern.
My point was, yes, if you are in the hospital now and you are going to be given treatment, I just hope and pray, and I'm sure that he does, he has everybody surrounding him to make sure that he doesn't become dependent on those pain pills that he will be given in the hospital. That is my point. I just want to be crystal clear about it. Okay, so conspiracy theories on the internet are nothing new, but they've definitely become much more common lately. The latest conspiracy theory that's taken off on TikTok is about the snowstorms in Texas. They claim that the snow that fell last week was actually planted by the government. Yeah, some have even put this quote, government snow, to test it in the videos, like this one that's been viewed more than 3 million times.
Someone said do it with a blow dryer. Plugged in, on. Go get snow. Here we go. Highest setting, hot. Not melting.
What the?
No drip.
No drip.
No drip. Not dripping. Still a snowball.
Boom.
Okay, so there's another video where she tries to melt a snowball with a candle flame, but the snowball turns black. So what's going on here with the snow, okay? Why many people are so quick to think that the government is somehow responsible, it turns out science has an explanation. It's called sublimation. Sublimation. Mm-hmm. Okay, which is when a solid, like snow or ice, skips the liquid phase, goes directly to gas. That's why you're not seeing any drops coming off the snowball. It's just becoming water vapor. I get, Erica, that the video is wacky, but come on, Erica. Come on, Erica. The government? Snow?
Well, Sam, what's happened in the past week? We're approaching the 1 year anniversary of everyone being in quarantine, okay? My big mama would say, idle hands are the devil's workshop, but idle minds create crimes against humanity, okay? Everyone is just have entirely too much time on their hands. All these conspiracy theories, it's insane. It's insane.
I just think that Bunsen burner Becky gets 3 million views, but a doctor that goes to school for 15 years is like, hey, maybe you should do this. Everyone's like, he's a quack. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Where are we?
I taught 7th grade science. Sublimation was on our tests. If you paid attention in my class, you would have known that.
Obviously, I didn't pay attention because I couldn't even.
And also, how'd the government make it cold?
That's a lot of faith in the government.
That's part of it, too.
Coming up on DBL, singer, actor, entertainer, and game show host John Davidson is joining us live. You do not want to miss this. Plus, a special edition of True Crime Chronicles. JonBenet Ramsey's half-brother is here and pleading with you to help solve the mystery all these years later. And a mom's sexy social media post got her kids expelled from Catholic school. Should they be punished for their mother's actions? Interesting debate coming up next.
Shadow Stevens and Hello Square.
I'll agree with that.
That's it. I don't know why, but circle gets a square.
At DBL, we're always on.
I'm in control. We're trying to give a conversation up here.
Shouldn't he be held accountable?
Absolutely.
This is where I'm going to push back.
Is this my shocked face?
Tori, I will walk off the set.
You should.
This February, DBL is all new.
I agree with Al on this one.
Every day.
Yeah, wow, I said it, Tori. Yo.
I'm in control, 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 control.
Welcome back to DBL. A California mom says her 3 kids were expelled from Catholic school after her racy pics were discovered online. And a warning, some of these images contain adult content. Crystal Jackson says she makes more than $150,000 a month posting photos on the subscription-based site OnlyFans. But after a group of moms found out about her side gig, they informed the school. Crystal said her kids should not be punished for the pictures which were taken by her husband. The school says her involvement in the adult website is in direct conflict with its values. Okay, Erica, do you think that these kids should be expelled for their mom's behavior? What do you think?
I think these are some hating butt moms, okay? No, I don't think that they should be expelled. As someone who went to Catholic school is expensive, so good for her for being able to put her children through school the way that she knows how. But how did these women even stumble across these images? You would have to have an account or, their husband stumbled across the images, and that's why we got a problem right now.
Erica, I mean, you hit it on the head. First of all, $150,000 a month.
She doesn't make that much
you don't buy it.
Jeff, I do.
$150,000 a month.
She has 500 million followers. If everybody gives you $4 a month, you can get there real quick. That's what the subscription service, people with OnlyFans make a ton of money, and that's where a lot of celebrities make their money now, is OnlyFans. So I could see it, and I think she's...
Let me give the other side. Now, I agree with Erica because I wouldn't want to raise my kids judging. However, if this school, because it's private, Erica and Jeff, because it's Catholic and it has its own code of conduct, and you go into that school knowing what that code of conduct is, knowing that it's private and religious, if you break the rules, let's put what that rule is aside, but if you break the rules, that's the consequence.
So if you're in some sort of drug affiliation, organized crime, and you're contributing to the school, they're going to throw you out? I don't think so.
And is it the parents' code of conduct or the kids' code of conduct?
I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
what I'm saying. I doubt it's the kids.
You shouldn't be responsible.
the parents.
You shouldn't be responsible for your parents' actions.
I'm just told by the producers that it's the school's code of conduct. So what they're doing, if you're involved in adult entertainment, that violates the school's code of conduct, according to our producers.
Yes.
All right. Well, we are out of time, but great conversation. We'll be right back.
This was when I noticed. Freezing temperatures and winter weather can mean more than just power outages and burst pipes. It could also mean more potholes. Let's connect the dots. Winter weather is one of the main causes of the dreaded pothole. That's because roads are more than just asphalt on the surface. That is just the top layer. Underneath is a thick layer of rocks and soil. Sometimes when it rains, that water can seep below the asphalt. When freezing temperatures hit, the water under the road's surface expands, shifting stuff around, and when it melts, the pressure from something like, say, a car can cave in the pavement, creating a pothole. It gets really bad when you get into a cycle of freezing and thawing. The afternoon sun can melt the water while colder temperatures at night freeze it again. It creates a cycle where the subsurface of the road is constantly shifting and can create some pretty massive potholes. And while salt can help keep ice and snow off roads, it can also make the pothole problem worse. That's because it lowers the freezing temperature of water, which means you can sometimes increase the frequency of the freezing and thawing cycle when extreme cold hits. All this can lead to a pretty bumpy ride by the time spring arrives.
Welcome back to DBL. JonBenet Ramsey's death is one of the most infamous unsolved murders ever. An unreleased audio diaries from a detective is offering a fresh perspective. Here is a sneak peek of the new Discovery Plus documentary in True Crime Chronicles.
JonBenet Ramsey was a bright and loving 6-year-old girl. Her family albums were filled with happy memories of spending time with her parents and her siblings. She had an older brother, Burke, half-brother John Andrew, and 2 half-sisters, Melinda and Elizabeth. JonBenet was also a pageant queen who followed in her mother's footsteps. She thrived in the spotlight and took home several titles, including Little Miss Colorado. Everything seemed normal, but something happened on December 25th, 1996, that no one has been able to figure out.
911 emergency. We got a kidnapping. There's a ransom note here. Okay, what's your name? Are you Kathy Ramsey? I'm the mother.
JonBenet was missing, and a ransom note was left behind. Her parents and Burke were the only ones home. The other siblings lived out of state. Police searched the home, and shortly later, JonBenet's father finds her dead in their basement. Her mouth and neck were covered with duct tape, and her body was concealed under a blanket. Autopsy reports revealed she was bound, strangled, struck on the head, and sexually assaulted. John brought his daughter's body upstairs, tainting much of the evidence. The whole world was watching while the Boulder Police Department investigated, and they were widely criticized for their mishandling of the case and not properly containing the crime scene. After 3 months without an arrest, top Colorado Springs detective Lou Smith was called out of retirement to help.
My dad was working on the Ramsey case. He kept an audio diary.
Although he's no longer alive, he left those tapes with his family, hoping they could crack the case.
This is Lou Smith. I had heard about the case. My kind of first impression was that maybe the Ramseys did it.
Just like Boulder police and the media, Lou initially put the blame on the parents. But after a lot of digging and DNA testing, he formed a different theory.
There is evidence of an intruder. I say this over and over again. Nobody wants to listen.
He presented his evidence to Boulder PD, but as his audio tapes depict, no one cared.
You can't discount it. Just because you don't like it and it doesn't fit your theory, you can't work a case that way. You've got to follow the evidence, and that's what he was doing.
The evidence was foreign DNA found on JonBenet's body.
This foreign DNA does not belong to Patsy, for sure. Now, it is male. They cannot say who it is.
But police didn't find that relevant, and the media was fixated on the parents being responsible.
So in other words, if they want to continue to throw that away, and yet that's one of the most important things in this case.
Lou's tapes examine evidence and debunk theories to uncover what he believes is the truth.
The truth is being hidden and warped.
So what really happened to JonBenet? And is her killer still out there?
The killer's out there. I know that we can't catch him.
Earlier, Al, Jeff, and I spoke with JonBenet's half-brother. Here's what he had to say about his sister's case. We are here with John Andrew Ramsey, JonBenet's half-brother. Thank you so much for coming here on DBL. I can't imagine what you and your family have gone through over the past 24 years. So my deepest condolences for a tragedy that I feel like continues because everyone is fixated or fascinated by it, and that just must be so strange for you. In fact, 24 years of no answers. What have these past few decades been like for you and your family?
Yeah, it's been frustrating. Our family's obviously been under suspicion, and the police have been solely focused on our family, and we would like to see the police focus on finding the real killer, JonBenet, and we've been working tirelessly to do that ourselves, but we're limited in what we can do.
So you were 20 when this all happened. What do you remember most about JonBenet, and what do you remember most about that day you found out what happened to your sister?
Yeah, JonBenet, I think it's important to remember, was just a 6-year-old little kid in kindergarten. That day was, it was a terrible, terrible day. And really was a tsunami of trauma, right? I mean, the initial wave, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
The Boulder Police Department was widely criticized for their handling or mishandling of this case. Do you believe that they overlooked the facts? Like, just honestly, what do you think happened that day?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Boulder police made a snap judgment on day one and then tried to find facts and evidence to support that initial conclusion, and they just weren't there. And unfortunately, that has deflected away from actually looking and searching for the killer, who has most likely gone on to victimize more people.
Yeah, I can't imagine what you and your family have been through. I mean, your parents were considered suspects for years, to your point, before they were cleared. Your family should have been focusing on coping with that tsunami of trauma, like you said. Instead, there was blame from not only the police, but the media as well. How did that impact you all?
It's maddening. That focus was misguided. We wish the investigation would look outside the family and look for the killer, JonBenet. It's simple as that.
This is still an active case. I mean, people are fascinated by this case. It's still active. I know you and your family are still very hopeful that they're going to catch whoever did do this. What can people do to contribute to this case? And in your own mind, do you think they are going to find somebody?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, this case can be solved. We have a mountain of evidence. DNA technology has vastly improved since 1996. Somebody out there knows something, and it's possible they called in the police early on and never got a call back. But to that person that might know something, this is not your burden to carry. Please come forward.
So your sister's story is the subject of a new documentary on Discovery Plus, where we hear exclusive audio diaries from homicide detective Lou Smith, who presented new theories. Do you think that could help lead to new answers or even an arrest? Is that possible?
Yeah, the family's objective in doing these documentaries is to find the killer. And every time we do this, and every time we are on TV, we're hoping, spurs someone to come forward with new information. And we can find the killer. That's why we do this.
John Andrew, thank you so much for being here. I know it's got to be difficult talking about it every single time somebody reaches out, but I understand your goal is to find JonBenet Ramsey's killer, and so it's part of it. I'm so sorry. To hear more from him and learn more about this case, you can watch the new documentary, JonBenet Ramsey, What Really Happened. It's streaming now on Discovery Plus. Thank you again. We'll be right back.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
I'm so excited for this interview. Joining us is legendary music photographer Rob Shanahan. So let me just ask you the main question. How does one go from being this kid in a small town Minnesota place to becoming the personal photographer of Ringo Starr? There wasn't like a posting in the paper. Like, how did you get there?
Well, it all goes back to dreams.
Pretty soon we're going to be leaving the cold and the snow behind as we enter warm weather and springtime. And for a lot of us, that means allergies. But amid a COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people on social media are wondering how to tell the symptoms apart. So let's verify. How can we tell the difference between COVID-19 symptoms and allergies? Here are our sources. Dr. Greg Poland, the director of the Mayo Vaccine Research Clinic, and Dr. Sarah Narayan, an allergist at Allergy West in Massachusetts.
It's a great question, and what I like about it is it's a really practical question that people are going to have to grapple with.
Let's look at the symptoms like this in a Venn diagram between those likely from allergies but not COVID, those likely with COVID but not allergies, and those that can pop up with both.
On the allergy side, we're listing sneezing, we're listing itchy, watery eyes.
Itchy eyes, itchy nose, those are not features of COVID.
On the COVID side, I would list the fever.
Shortness of breath, diarrhea, joint and muscle aches, loss of taste and smell.
Those are all things that we rarely see with allergies.
And then in the middle, which could happen with either one, would be other mild symptoms that somebody might have, like fatigue or headache.
Can just feel yucky.
And if you're feeling those symptoms in the middle of the Venn diagram, our experts say you should start with allergy meds.
If taking allergy medication relieves your symptoms, that's highly unlikely to be COVID related.
And of course, if you want to be 100% sure, you could always just take a COVID test to make sure you're negative. Reporting with your Verify, this is Evan Kozlov.
This February, DBL is all new every day.
Hold on.
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Really? Okay.
Like, it is such a joke. I was shocked.
I meant for you to chime in on.
I don't know what you're saying.
DBL is just getting started.
Here come the Pistons.
I love this story.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year.
Tomorrow on DBL, our friend and OG Double Dare host Mark Summers is joining us live for a virtual game you cannot miss. It's our series Classic Game Show Hosts, Where Are They Now? And rock star secrets you've never heard before from the photographer who got up close and personal.
Gives me chills thinking about that.
That's tomorrow only on DBL.
Ooh, can't miss it. If you're leaving us, you can catch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. But if you're staying with us, here's what's coming up. Iconic game show host and entertainer John Davidson joins us live from Hollywood Squares.
Yes.
That's incredible. And everything in between, we're talking about it all. DBL is new every day. We will be right back.
is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. Today we are continuing our week-long series, Classic Game Show Hosts, Where Are They Now? He appeared on the Johnny Carson Show more than any other singer ever. He starred on Broadway, in movies and TV. On top of that, when it comes to game shows, he is the face of the 1980s. From That's Incredible to Time Machine to Hollywood Squares. You'd have to be living under a rock to not know the name John Davidson. And today, he is joining us live.
Yes!
Yes, John! Hi, welcome to DBL. Before we dive...
Hi, gang. Congratulations on the show. It's going well.
Thank you. Yeah, we feel pretty lucky. We love what we do. Just like, you've always loved entertainment, from singing to hosting game shows. Before we dive into the legend, that is Hollywood Squares, I wanted to chat with you about That's Incredible, a show that had some amazing and dangerous acts. During one of the episodes, your co-host, Fran Tarkenton, talked with a very young guest who is making headlines today. Let's take a look at that clip.
This is Eldrick Tiger Woods, and Eldrick is an accomplished golfer. He wins tournaments on a regular basis and has shot close to par on 18-hole courses. Incredibly, Tiger here is only 5 years old.
Wow. And Tiger is recovering in the hospital after his horrible car accident yesterday. What do you remember about Tiger being on the show, and what was he like at that young of an age?
Well, I must tell you, unfortunately, I just watched the clip after Fran had already done it. Kathy Lee Crosby and Fran and I did That's Incredible, but the secret to the show was this incredible production staff that put all these stories together. So often I would go out and interview people that Kathy Lee wasn't there, or Fran. So we all had different, because Tiger was a young sports figure, so Fran did that one. I was proud of That's Incredible when it celebrated human triumph over mental and physical obstacles. There were moments on That's Incredible when we had arguments, Kathy Lee and Fran and I, about the truth of what we were doing. We did some things that were clearly magicians and claiming that they had ESP or something, and they were just doing a magic trick. So it was controversial in that way, but I was very proud of the show. It was a top 5 show for 3 years. It was great.
John, thanks for being here, first of all, and I got to get back to Hollywood Squares because I know you guys had a blast on that show, sometimes at your expense, but we dug up a little clip I want to show you and then get your side of the story.
He cheated and looked at your card. I saw him looking at your card.
Oh.
He looked back at your card. I saw him look at your card.
I knew the answer.
No, wait just a minute.
Oh.
I saw him leaning back like this and looking at the card.
Check, please.
I knew looking at the card. I knew the answer. Right here.
I knew the
I gotta know what was going through your mind when that contestant took a dive.
I couldn't get my breath. I literally couldn't breathe. It was a April Fool's joke they played on me. And the whole studio audience knew that these were stunt people, that the girl was a stunt lady and the guy. So they were in on it. And all the stars in the big apparatus, the big tic-tac-toe board across from me, they all knew it. But I was just blown away. I thought she'd killed him. She pushed him backwards off of our pedestal, which is it's like 12, 13 feet.
Whoa.
And he fell onto a mattress. So it just scared the hell out of me. I love doing squares because I got to meet a lot of famous people without going to Hollywood parties. And maybe I didn't go to enough Hollywood parties. I don't know. I was the second host of Squares. The first host, of course, is the classic Peter Marshall, who's now 92 and a half, I think, almost 93, and doing great. And I was the second host after I used to guest on the show with Paul Lynn and Karen Valentine and all Wally Cox and all the greats. And then I got to host it in the 80s for a period of time. And then Tom Bergeron was the third host. So it's a proven format. All the stars were given jokes to do, but they weren't given the questions. And my center square, when I hosted it with Joan Rivers, and Tom Bergeron's center square was Whoopi Goldberg. So it's a proven format. It was a lot of fun.
All right, well, John, I'm sensing a theme here. I'm sensing that a lot of times, a lot of people want to give you a hard time. So we found this clip from the show of another guest that like to give you a hard time.
Can you believe this, huh? Here we are. Hello, Squares. By the way, I'm told to hold this up.
What is that?
It's John's book, My Story, the whole story by John Davidson, a collection of his wit. Notice how thin the book is. We're moving on.
Now, tell us, John, was Alf your most difficult guest?
No, he was great. Alf, the guy who did Alf, was just so clever that just made him, you know. And I think he had his own series at the time, and I think we kind of helped to launch Alf's career. So I was kind of proud of that. Very, very clever guy.
And I just love how you don't take yourself seriously. It's so becoming, and I think that's why so many people became a fan of you, is because you never got offended and always in on the joke. You truly are a jack of all trades, and I know the pandemic has stopped you from performing for now. So what's next? In about 30 seconds, because we're running out of time, any big projects that are in the works for you this year?
Oh, just live performing. I sing with my guitar and my banjo, and I do a live show. I'm developing a supper club experience in Sandwich, New Hampshire, where I live, and I'm calling it Club Sandwich.
I love it.
Seemed like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing my live show there starting this summer, when COVID-19 is hopefully gone.
Yeah, we hope so. And I hope that we can somehow go out and see you perform. You have such an incredible voice.
I want to eventually live in Sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, John, thank you so much for joining us here in DBL. And to our DBL Nation, to see everything that John is up to, visit his website, johndavidson.com. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
We'll be right back.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Closed captioning provided by...
Jerry, you in that fat butt? Jerry?
At DBL, we're always on.
I'm in control. We're trying to give a conversation up here.
Shouldn't he be held accountable?
Absolutely.
This is where I'm going to push back. Is this my shocked face?
Tori, I will walk off the set.
You should. This February, DBL is all new. I agree with Al on this one. Every day.
Yeah, wow, I said it, Tori. Yo.
I'm in control.
back to DBL. Martha Stewart admits she has mixed feelings about the MeToo movement. In an interview with Harper's Bazaar, Martha says while many of the famous men who have been accused of sexual misconduct are guilty, she says others who she knows well were wrongly accused because of their, quote, awful personalities. Martha did not name names, but she has worked with people like former Today Show co-host Matt Lauer, who was fired in 2017 after being accused of sexual misconduct, and also disgraced chef Mario Batali, who is facing criminal charges of sexual misconduct. He made a number of appearances, if you remember, on her old show, Martha, between 2005 and 2008. So what do we think of, Jeff, of her summation of the Me Too movement and how some people maybe just have awful personalities?
I don't understand why. You know, on this show, sometimes I challenge the opposite side just to make good conversation, and it doesn't turn out well for me. Martha, I think, has a lot going for her, and to challenge that movement, particularly for people who she says doesn't have even great personalities, why are you sticking up for these men? I don't think it's the right time. I appreciate challenging anything, not just this movement, but I don't think it's the right time, and I just ask why.
Erica, go ahead.
I was going to ask Erica, what did she think?
Well, I think I'm pontificating or speculating as to why Martha Stewart would say something like this, because she was the poster child for insider trading when everyone was insider trading, and she really had to take the consequences for that.
That's interesting.
And that narrative was really blown out in the media. And so I think she just has a very different perspective of what happens when your narrative is told by the media.
I also think, too, Erica and Al, is the fact that she said in the article, listen, these men had awful personalities, but they never, treated me a certain way. Just because a specific person, though, doesn't treat a specific individual like Martha Stewart a certain way or weren't inappropriate with her doesn't mean that they weren't inappropriate with other people. And I wish she would have prefaced her statement by specifically saying my experience.
Well, yeah, and
she
Sam,
didn't.
that's the flaw in the argument, because a lot of men will say that, like, well, he never did anything around me. Of course, but I do think we can extract from this flawed argument that she's making a larger conversation, and it has to do with whether we're talking about, the death penalty, where there's some people that have clearly done it and deserve to be punished, and some people that are innocent. It's the same with anything. When you have a big net, you're going to get a lot of people, and you're going to get some people in that shouldn't be in there, and you're going to miss some people that are going to be in there. And it's hard. It's a hard fact of life, but we have to accept that, and it's terrible. It's just hard to accept.
Great analogy. Coming up on DBL, you know her from the hit sitcoms Punky Brewster and Family Matters. We're talking live with actress Cherie Johnson.
Yes.
Coming up next.
Valentine's Day might be over, but DBL is helping one lucky viewer keep the romance alive. We're giving away a luxurious date night at home, valued at more than $1,600. From silk sheets to luxurious robes, from relaxing facials to loungewear and designer shoes, we're even throwing in decadent chocolate and wine. Head to our website, dailyblastlive.com, to enter. The giveaway ends February 26th, so enter now.
We all know that.
Freezing temperatures and winter weather can mean more than just power outages and burst pipes. It could also mean more potholes. Let's connect the dots. Winter weather is one of the main causes of the dreaded pothole. That's because roads are more than just asphalt on the surface. That is just the top layer. Underneath is a thick layer of rocks and soil. Sometimes when it rains, that water can seep below the asphalt. When freezing temperatures hit, the water under the road's surface expands, shifting stuff around, and when it melts, the pressure from something like, say, a car, can cave in the pavement, creating a pothole. It gets really bad when you get into a cycle of freezing and thawing. The afternoon sun can melt the water while colder temperatures at night freeze it again. It creates a cycle where the subsurface of the road is constantly shifting and can create some pretty massive potholes. And while salt can help keep ice and snow off roads, it can also make the pothole problem worse. That's because it lowers the freezing temperature of water, which means you can sometimes increase the frequency of the freezing and thawing cycle when extreme cold hits. All this can lead to a pretty bumpy ride by the time spring arrives.
Welcome back to DBL. 30 years ago, Cherie Johnson and Soleil Moon Frye were best friends, and Punky Brewster, I think I've seen every episode. Today, Cherie joins us to celebrate the show's revival. Before we say hello, let's take a peek at what Punky Power looks like 30 years later.
The original Punky Brewster came from such a genuine place that we're together again, coming from that place. This is not about work for us. This is about coming and playing with your best friend every day. To be here together now, it feels like magic.
Oh my gosh, there she is, Cherie Johnson. I'm fangirling. Welcome to DBL.
Thank you so much.
Love you. Before we get into Punky Brewster, we know that you worked with Gary Coleman years ago in Playing with Fire, and he definitely made an impact on you then, but also as an adult. Can you tell us about your gas station encounter? I think our DBL viewers would be fascinated by it.
Yes, I saw Gary just, randomly at the gas station one day, and he said, "Baby, I need you to do me a favor. Make sure that one day you take some time away and you leave, move away from Hollywood, live your life and do something besides from entertainment." So I did. After I had my baby, it sounded like a really good idea. I moved away and decided I was going to semi-retire and maybe work like 1 or 2 projects a year, but I was going to concentrate on just being mom and living a regular life for a little while.
Wow, you took his advice and you ran with it, and then here you are more than 30 years later, Punky Brewster and her bestie, all grown up. Let's take a quick look at where it all began.
You know what, Punky? You're my idol. I am? Yeah, just think. You got your own apartment. You can stay up as late as you want, and you don't have to go to school.
Wow. So who have Cherie and Punky grown up to be? Tell us.
We are amazing women in our mid-40s. I will say that Cherie has grown up to be a social worker, still very inspired by Punky. She is spending her days making sure that children get placed in the right homes, either with foster parents or to become adopted. Cherie is in a queer relationship with a beautiful actress who's played Jessica Nicole. She plays Lauren. And she's an attorney, so Cherie is definitely dating up and doing well for herself.
Yes.
Punky.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish. I was just gonna jump on that too, because your character is considered queer in the new show, but in the '80s, you and Punky were kind of the first interracial couple/duo. So it's kind of groundbreaking, right?
So we've heard, but we never thought about that in the 80s. We were just 2 girls who loved each other. And that's all that we ever really thought about. But yes, Punky Brewster has always been innovative, groundbreaking, and tackling those hard conversations that a lot of people don't have in their homes until they watch the show, and then they have no other choice but to speak about things with their kids.
All right, Cherie, Al Jackson here. I have to say, you look amazing. You have not aged a day. I mean, it's like, no, we can't sit here to act like she's not Benjamin buttoning it on this. Like you're getting young. What is this? What do you need to have your own face serum. Like you're very young. Good for you. All right.
Thank you.
Al. All right. right, now Sam's going to get on me now. Now, you played Maxine Johnson on Family Matters, and obviously there was one episode that dealt with racial profiling when it just wasn't being talked about at all. And, you know, even as a teenager, you ended up actually experiencing it. Can you tell us a little bit about that altercation, interaction?
Absolutely. I think most Black teenagers experienced it. It wasn't anything new. Unfortunately, it was something that people didn't speak about publicly. I grew up in a small town of Westlake Village in Ventura County, and the Ventura County sheriffs and the Malibu sheriffs at the time were very well known for racial profiling. It's what they did. It wasn't a secret. It's still not a secret. But there was a time in my life where every day I left to just go to school, I was pulled over.
Wow.
I was pulled over, oftentimes pruned out of the car. They wanted to search my car. They always had different excuses as to why. But it was just a part of our day, every day.
Yeah, you know,
Because
Al, our co-host who you're talking to, has spoken, you know, many times about some of the altercations he's had, and it's something that Jeff and I, the two white people on the panel, have never had to experience. And because of people like you sharing that story and Al sharing his story, it allows hopefully our viewers to see the privilege of skin color. And I just thank you for being so forthright about that from such a young age. Before we let you go, we want you to tell us about your podcast, Cherie's World.
Yes. So people had started asking me, why don't I do reality shows? How come I'm like not really personable, letting people in my life? So Cherie's World is my way to kind of let you in on my world, to meet me and my friends in a different light. It's not really like behind the scenes, but it's more of just a conversation with friends instead of an interview type show.
I love that. That's our show.
Yeah, and I bring in people that everybody usually knows their names and faces, and they're very familiar with, and we talk about things that are going on in the world and things that are just important to us.
That is so cool. That is so cool. We want you to come on our show one day.
Yes.
After the pandemic. Come on and join our panel.
I would love it.
Yay, 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 yay. Make sure to check out Cherie's podcast and don't miss the premiere of Punky Brewster on Peacock.
Yes.
Thank you, Cherie, for being here with us. We appreciate you. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
I'm so excited for this interview. Joining us is legendary music photographer Rob Shanahan. So let me just ask you the main question. How does one go from being this kid in a small town Minnesota place to becoming the personal photographer of Ringo Starr? There wasn't like a posting in the paper. Like, how did you get there?
Well, it all goes back to dreams.
Pretty soon we're going to be leaving the cold and the snow behind as we enter warm weather and springtime. And for a lot of us, that means allergies. But amid a COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people on social media are wondering how to tell the symptoms apart. So let's verify. How can we tell the difference between COVID-19 symptoms and allergies? Here are our sources. Dr. Greg Poland, the director of the Mayo Vaccine Research Clinic, and Dr. Sarah Narayan, an allergist at Allergy West in Massachusetts.
It's a great question, and what I like about it is it's a really practical question that people are going to have to grapple with.
Let's look at the symptoms like this in a Venn diagram between those likely from allergies but not COVID, those likely with COVID but not allergies, and those that can pop up with both.
On the allergy side, we're listing sneezing, we're listing itchy, watery eyes.
Itchy eyes, itchy nose, those are not features of COVID.
On the COVID side, I would list the fever.
Shortness of breath, diarrhea, joint and muscle aches, loss of taste and smell.
Those are all things that we rarely see with allergies.
And then in the middle, which could happen with either one, would be other mild symptoms that somebody might have, like fatigue or headache.
Can just feel yucky.
And if you're feeling those symptoms in the middle of the Venn diagram, our experts say you should start with allergy meds.
If taking allergy medication relieves your symptoms, that's highly unlikely to be COVID related.
And of course, if you want to be 100% sure, you could always just take a COVID test to make sure you're negative. Reporting with your Verify, this is Evan Kozlov.
This February, DBL is all new every day.
Hold on.
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Really? Okay. Like, it is such a joke. I was shocked.
I meant for you to chime in on.
I don't know what you're saying.
DBL is just getting started.
Here come the Pistons.
I love this story.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year.
Tomorrow on DBL, our friend and OG Double Dare host Mark Summers is joining us live for a virtual game you cannot miss. It's our series Classic Game Show Hosts, Where Are They Now? And rock star secrets you've never heard before from the photographer who got up close and personal.
Gives me chills thinking about that.
That's tomorrow only on DBL.
I cannot wait. Welcome back to DBL. How far can your car actually make it after the empty gas light comes on? Uh-oh, this is close to home for me. We're chatting about it in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. First, every car is different, but you generally have to have between 30 to 50 miles of gas left after the light comes on. Second, don't always trust the miles to empty reading. It's only an approximation. Lastly, think of where you are on the road when the light comes on. If you're stuck on the freeway, you'll be consuming more gas than usual. For peace of mind, get an auto protection plan from CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote.
Sam, you have a story.
Well, I never run out of gas, but in the last month, I've ran out of gas twice. One was by my house and I walked. One was by my house, Erica and I walked. The second one was last week, and I was on the freeway and I was on a very important pitch phone call, Erica.
Hollywood.
So when I ran out of gas, when I ran out of gas, Erica, I did not say a word. I just putted over to the side, finished my pitch. 20 minutes later, cars zooming by me, and then called my husband for help.
That's a professional.
Erica, have you ever...
I'm gonna need you to stop at the gas station, okay?
Thank you.
A full tank gives me life.
Both can be true.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
New details on Tiger Woods as he recovers from a horrible crash. Plus, a first responder describes the heart-stopping moments on scene.
He told me his name was Tiger, and at that moment I immediately recognized him.
A mom with an OnlyFans account says her kids were kicked out of school over her racy online photos. Was it bullying by other parents that led to this? Our classic game show hosts Where Are They Now series continues with John Davidson from Hollywood Squares. He's live on DBL today. And a special edition of True Crime Chronicles with JonBenet Ramsey's half-brother speaking out. Will her killer ever be caught?
To that person that might know something, this is not your burden to carry.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, February 24th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Miss Erica joining us from home. Okay, so we've been following the latest on Tiger Woods' horrible rollover crash. The golf legend is awake, responsive, and recovering from a shattered leg. Surgeons inserted a rod with pins and screws to rebuild his shin and calf bones as well as his ankle. The road he was driving on in LA is notorious for accidents. TMZ Sports got this video just before the crash, showing Tiger in the SUV traveling along the winding road minutes before. Now, the first responder on the scene described on the Today Show what it was like discovering it was Tiger. Take a look.
I asked him, hey, can you tell me your first name? He looked at me and he said, Tiger. And it took me a half second, but I saw his face and I thought, oh yeah, you're Tiger Woods.
So there are reports that Tiger was in a rush to meet NFL players Drew Brees and Justin Herbert for a golf TV tee time before the crash. And many are wondering what his injuries will mean for his career now. What do you think, Al?
I hope it's the end of his career.
What do you mean?
I hope it's the end of
Why?
his career. I'll tell you why. I watched that Tiger Woods documentary, and it seemed like a person that had golf down pat. That's all he knows, and he is arguably the best person to ever do golf. We got that part of his life. But if you watch that documentary, you also saw that there was a lot of voids. He had issues with relationships with women. He was kind of distant with his kids. He was distant from the other golfers. He was detached from life. I hope now, Jeff, that this is his excuse, his reason, even if he needs to be pushed out of the door, to get ready to do the next 2/3 of his life, which is having more money than he can spend, having beautiful children, and having somebody that he cares about, and working on his addictions day to day. So he's entertained me enough. He's entertained the world enough. Now it's time for him to live his life.
See, I kind of think the opposite, man. First of all, the documentary he wasn't a part of, which I have a problem with. I've said it on the show before. Second of all, I think it's such a big part of his life that he needs it to move on. He needs a goal to recover from this, right? I'm a big Tiger fan. I'm a fan of what he did in the sport, I should say. And he's going to recover from this. He had multiple back surgeries. He came back and won the Masters. He needs this. He needs a goal in his life. With golf, it's not like you're putting your body through football, Al. He could golf on his senior tour. He doesn't have to be a top 100 player. As long as it's in his life, that's what his son's doing right now. As long as he's there for his son to teach him a little bit, I hope he recovers. I hope everything's right. But we were touching on this earlier, Sam, the addiction part of it.
Yeah, what I'm worried about, Erica, is, one of the things that I look at Tiger for inspiration is how, just recently we learned what a treacherous and tumultuous road it's been for him, considering all the surgeries he has had, which he has said, his very own words, led to the addiction to painkillers. So now that he's going to be coming out of this hospital with excruciating pain, he's going to have to rely on those painkillers again. So I just hope that he has the right support around him so that he does not see history repeat itself.
I just think it's too early to really make such broad speculations, especially about someone who has a past with addiction. That was the first thing that everyone
It's never too early. It's never too early with people with addiction.
Well, I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, when we're having this conversation now, there's a lot of factors that we don't know for sure, and I think that it actually does it doesn't do a great service to anyone who has struggled with addiction or anything else, because because the automatic implication is that this is what happened because this was their past. If there's a road to redemption, then why do we always have to bring up every past thing that happened to someone in order to justify what's happening today?
Well,
I don't
let me
think
clarify
that's
what I
fair.
said, because I never painted a picture that he currently is using. And I'm very delicate with that when it comes to addiction. So let me clear that statement.
I think we were saying it more in concern.
My point was, yes, if you are in the hospital now and you are going to be given treatment, I just hope and pray, and I'm sure that he does, he has everybody surrounding him to make sure that he doesn't become dependent on those pain pills that he will be given in the hospital. That is my point. I just want to be crystal clear about it. Okay, so conspiracy theories on the internet are nothing new, but they've definitely become much more common lately. The latest conspiracy theory that's taken off on TikTok is about the snowstorms in Texas. They claim that the snow that fell last week was actually planted by the government. Yeah, some have even put this quote, government snow, to test it in the videos, like this one that's been viewed more than 3 million times.
Someone said do it with a blow dryer. Plugged in, on. Go get snow. Here we go. Highest setting, hot. Not melting.
What the?
No drip.
No drip.
No drip. Not dripping. Still a snowball.
Boom.
Okay, so there's another video where she tries to melt a snowball with a candle flame, but the snowball turns black. So what's going on here with the snow, okay? Why many people are so quick to think that the government is somehow responsible, it turns out science has an explanation. It's called sublimation. Sublimation, okay, which is when a solid, like snow or ice, skips the liquid phase, goes directly to gas. That's why you're not seeing any drops coming off the snowball. It's just becoming water vapor. I get, Erica, that the video is wacky, but come on, Erica. Come on, Erica. The government? Snow?
Well, Sam, what's happened in the past week? We're approaching the 1 year anniversary of everyone being in quarantine, okay? My big mama would say, idle hands are the devil's workshop, but idle minds create crimes against humanity, okay? Everyone is just have entirely too much time on their hands. All these conspiracy theories, it's insane. It's insane.
I just think that Bunsen burner Becky gets 3 million views, but a doctor that goes to school for 15 years is like, hey, maybe you should do this. Everyone's like, he's a quack. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Where are we?
I taught 7th grade science. Sublimation was on our tests. If you paid attention in my class, you would have known that.
Obviously, I didn't pay attention because I couldn't even
And also, how'd the
it.
government make it cold?
That's a lot of faith in the government.
That's part of it, too.
Coming up on DBL, singer, actor, entertainer, and game show host John Davidson is joining us live. You do not want to miss this. Plus, a special edition of True Crime Chronicles. JonBenet Ramsey's half-brother is here and pleading with you to help solve the mystery all these years later. And a mom's sexy social media post got her kids expelled from Catholic school. Should they be punished for their mother's actions? Interesting debate coming up next.
Jared, you in that fat butt? Jared?
Shadow Stevens and Hello Square.
I'll agree with that.
That's it. I don't know why, but circle gets a
At DBL, we're always on.
I'm in control.
trying to give a conversation up here.
Shouldn't he be held accountable?
Absolutely.
This is where I'm going to push back.
Is this my shocked face? Tori, I will walk off the set.
You should.
This February, DBL is all new
I agree with Al on this one.
every day.
Yeah, wow, I said it, Tori. Yo.
Welcome back to DBL. A California mom says her 3 kids were expelled from Catholic school after her racy pics were discovered online. And a warning, some of these images contain adult content. Crystal Jackson says she makes more than $150,000 a month posting photos on the subscription-based site OnlyFans. But after a group of moms found out about her side gig, they informed the school. Crystal said her kids should not be punished for the pictures which were taken by her husband. The school says her involvement in the adult website is in direct conflict with its values. Okay, Erica, do you think that these kids should be expelled for their mom's behavior? What do you think?
I think these are some hating butt moms, okay? No, I don't think that they should be expelled. As someone who went to Catholic school is expensive, so good for her for being able to put her children through school the way that she knows how. But how did these women even stumble across these images? You would have to have an account or, their husband stumbled across the images, and that's why we got a problem right now.
Erica, I mean, you hit it on the head. First of all, $150,000 a month.
She doesn't make that much
you don't
money.
buy it.
Jeff, I do.
$150,000 a month?
She has 500 million followers. If everybody gives you $4 a month, you can get there real quick. That's what the subscription service, people with OnlyFans make a ton of money, and that's where a lot of celebrities make their money now, is OnlyFans. So I could see it, and I think she's...
Let me give the other side. Now, I agree with Erica because I wouldn't want to raise my kids judging. However, if this school, because it's private, Erica and Jeff, because it's Catholic and it has its own code of conduct, and you go into that school knowing what that code of conduct is, knowing that it's private and religious, if you break the rules, let's put what that rule is aside, but if you break the rules, that's the consequence.
So if you're in some sort of drug affiliation, organized crime, and you're contributing to the school, they're going to throw you out? I don't think
know.
So.
And is it the parents' code of conduct or the kids' code of conduct?
I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
what I'm saying. I doubt it's the kids.
You shouldn't be responsible.
I mean, the parents.
You shouldn't be responsible for your parents' actions.
I'm just told by the producers that it's the school's code of conduct. So what they're doing, if you're involved in adult entertainment, that violates the school's code of conduct, according to our producers.
Yes.
All right. Well, we are out of time, but great conversation. We'll be right back.
This way.
Freezing temperatures and winter weather can mean more than just power outages and burst pipes. It could also mean more potholes. Let's connect the dots. Winter weather is one of the main causes of the dreaded pothole. That's because roads are more than just asphalt on the surface. That is just the top layer. Underneath is a thick layer of rocks and soil. Sometimes when it rains, that water can seep below the asphalt. When freezing temperatures hit, the water under the road's surface expands, shifting stuff around, and when it melts, the pressure from something like, say, a car can cave in the pavement, creating a pothole. It gets really bad when you get into a cycle of freezing and thawing, The afternoon sun can melt the water, while colder temperatures at night freeze it again. It creates a cycle where the subsurface of the road is constantly shifting and can create some pretty massive potholes. And while salt can help keep ice and snow off roads, it can also make the pothole problem worse. That's because it lowers the freezing temperature of water, which means you can sometimes increase the frequency of the freezing and thawing cycle when extreme cold hits. All this can lead to a pretty bumpy ride by the time spring arrives.
Welcome back to DBL. JonBenet Ramsey's death is one of the most infamous unsolved murders ever. An unreleased audio diaries from a detective is offering a fresh perspective. Here is a sneak peek of the new Discovery Plus documentary in True Crime Chronicles.
JonBenet Ramsey was a bright and loving 6-year-old girl. Her family albums were filled with happy memories of spending time with her parents and her siblings. She had an older brother, Burke, half-brother John Andrew, and 2 half-sisters, Melinda and Elizabeth. JonBenet was also a pageant queen who followed in her mother's footsteps. She thrived in the spotlight and took home several titles, including Little Miss Colorado. Everything seemed normal, but something happened on December 25th, 1996 that no one has been able to figure out.
911 emergency. We got kidnapping. There's a ransom note here. Okay, what's your name? Are you Kathy Ramsey? I'm the mother.
JonBenet was missing, and a ransom note was left behind. Her parents and Burke were the only ones home. The other siblings lived out of state. Police searched the home, and shortly later, JonBenet's father finds her dead in their basement. Her mouth and neck were covered with duct tape, and her body was concealed under a blanket. Autopsy reports revealed she was bound, strangled, struck on the head, and sexually assaulted. John brought his daughter's body upstairs, tainting much of the evidence. The whole world was watching while the Boulder Police Department investigated, and they were widely criticized for their mishandling of the case and not properly containing the crime scene. After 3 months without an arrest, top Colorado Springs detective Lou Smith was called out of retirement to help.
My dad was working on the Ramsey case. He kept an audio diary.
Although he's no longer alive, he left those tapes with his family, hoping they could crack the case.
This is Lou Smith. I had heard about the case. My kind of first impression was that maybe the Ramseys did it.
Just like Boulder police and the media, Lou initially put the blame on the parents. But after a lot of digging and DNA testing, he formed a different theory.
There is evidence of an intruder. I say this over and over again. Nobody wants to listen.
He presented his evidence to Boulder PD, but as his audio tapes depict, no one cared.
You can't discount it. Just because you don't like it and it doesn't fit your theory, you can't work a case that way. You've got to follow the evidence, and that's what he was doing.
The evidence was foreign DNA found on JonBenet's body.
This foreign DNA does not belong to Patsy, for sure. Now, it is male. They cannot say who it is.
But police didn't find that relevant, and the media was fixated on the parents being responsible.
So in other words, if they want to continue to throw that away, and yet that's one of the most important things in this case.
Lou's tapes examine evidence and debunk theories to uncover what he believes is the truth.
The truth is being hidden and warped.
So what really happened to JonBenet? And is her killer still out there?
The killer's out there. I know that we can't catch him.
Earlier, Al, Jeff, and I spoke with JonBenet's half-brother. Here's what he had to say about his sister's case.
We are here with Andrew Ramsey, JonBenet's half-brother. Thank you so much for coming here on DBL. I can't imagine what you and your family have gone through over the past 24 years. So my deepest condolences for a tragedy that I feel like continues because everyone is fixated or fascinated by it, and that just must be so strange for you. In fact, 24 years of no answers. What have these past few decades been like for you and your family?
Yeah, it's been frustrating. Our family's obviously been under suspicion, and the police have been solely focused on our family, and we would like to see the police focus on finding the real killer, JonBenet, and we've been working tirelessly to do that ourselves, but we're limited in what we can do.
So you were 20 when this all happened. What do you remember most about JonBenet, and what do you remember most about that day you found out what happened to your sister?
Yeah, JonBenet, I think it's important to remember, was just a 6-year-old little kid in kindergarten. That day was, it was a terrible, terrible day. And really was a tsunami of trauma, right? I mean, the initial wave, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
The Boulder Police Department was widely criticized for their handling or mishandling of this case. Do you believe that they overlooked the facts? Like, just honestly, what do you think happened that day?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Boulder police made a snap judgment on day one and then tried to find facts and evidence to support that initial conclusion, and they just weren't there. And unfortunately, that has deflected away from actually looking and searching for the killer, who has most likely gone on to victimize more people.
Yeah, I can't imagine what you and your family have been through. I mean, your parents were considered suspects for years, to your point, before they were cleared. Your family should have been focusing on coping with that tsunami of trauma, like you said. Instead, there was blame from not only the police, but the media as well. How did that impact you all?
It's maddening. That focus was misguided. We wish the investigation would look outside the family and look for the killer, JonBenet. It's simple as that.
This is still an active case. I mean, people are fascinated by this case. It's still active. I know you and your family are still very hopeful that they're going to catch whoever did do this. What can people do to contribute to this case? And in your own mind, do you think they are going to find somebody?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, this case can be solved. We have a mountain of evidence. DNA technology has vastly improved since 1996. If somebody out there knows something, and it's possible they called in the police early on and never got a call back, but to that person that might know something, this is not your burden to carry. Please come forward.
So your sister's story is the subject of a new documentary on Discovery Plus, where we hear exclusive audio diaries from homicide detective Lou Smith, who presented new theories. Do you think that could help lead to new answers or even an arrest? Is that possible?
Yeah, the family's objective in doing these documentaries is to find the killer. And every time we do this, and every time we are on TV, we're hoping, spurs someone to come forward with new information. And we can find the killer. That's why we do this.
Andrew, thank you so much for being here. I know it's got to be difficult talking about it every single time somebody reaches out, but I understand your goal is to find JonBenet Ramsey's killer, and so it's part of it. I'm so sorry. To hear more from him and learn more about this case, you can watch the new documentary, JonBenet Ramsey, What Really Happened. It's streaming now on Discovery Plus. Thank you again. We'll be right back.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
I'm so excited for this interview. Joining us is legendary music photographer Rob Shanahan. So let me just ask you the main question. How does one go from being this kid in a small town Minnesota place to becoming the personal photographer of Ringo Starr? There wasn't like a posting in the paper. Like, how did you get there?
Well, it all goes back to dreams.
Pretty soon we're going to be leaving the cold and the snow behind as we enter warm weather and springtime. And for a lot of us, That means allergies. But amid a COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people on social media are wondering how to tell the symptoms apart. So let's verify. How can we tell the difference between COVID-19 symptoms and allergies? Here are sources. Dr. Greg Poland, the director of the Mayo Vaccine Research Clinic, and Dr. Sarah Narayan, an allergist at Allergy West in Massachusetts.
It's a great question, and what I like about it is it's a really practical question that people are going to have to grapple with.
Let's look at the symptoms like this in a Venn diagram between those likely from allergies but not COVID, those likely with COVID but not allergies, and those that can pop up with both.
On the allergy side, we're listing sneezing, we're listing itchy, watery eyes.
Itchy eyes, itchy nose, those are not features of COVID.
On the COVID side, I would list the fever.
Shortness of breath, diarrhea, joint and muscle aches, loss of taste and smell.
Those are all things that we rarely see with allergies.
And then in the middle, which could happen with either one, would be other mild symptoms that somebody might have, like fatigue or headache.
Can just feel yucky.
And if you're feeling those symptoms in the middle of the Venn diagram, our experts say you should start with allergy meds.
If taking allergy medication relieves your symptoms, that's highly unlikely to be COVID related.
And of course, if you want to be 100% sure, you could always just take a COVID test to make sure you're negative. Reporting with your Verify, this is Evan Kozlov.
This February, DBL is all new every day.
Hold on.
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Really? Okay.
Like, it is such a joke.
I was shocked.
I meant for you to chime in on. I don't know what you're saying.
DBL is just getting started.
Here come the Pistons.
I love this story.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Tomorrow on DBL, our friend and OG Double Dare host Mark Summers is joining us live for a virtual game you cannot miss. It's our series Classic Game Show Hosts, Where Are They Now? And rock star secrets you've never heard before from the photographer who got up close and personal.
Gives me chills thinking about that.
That's tomorrow only on DBL.
Ooh, can't miss it. If you're leaving us, you can catch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. But if you're staying with us, here's what's coming up. Iconic game show host and entertainer John Davidson joins us live from Hollywood Squares to That's Incredible and everything in between. We're talking about it all. DBL is new every day. We will be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. Today we are continuing our week-long series, Classic Game Show hosts. Where are they now? He appeared on the Johnny Carson Show more than any other singer ever. He starred on Broadway, in movies and TV. On top of that, when it comes to game shows, he is the face of the 1980s, from That's Incredible to Time Machine to Hollywood Squares. You'd have to be living under a rock to not know the name John Davidson. And today he is joining us live.
Yes!
Yes, John! Hi, welcome to DBL. Before we dive...
Hi, gang. Congratulations on the show. It's going well.
Thank you. Yeah, we feel pretty lucky. We love what we do. Just like, you've always loved entertainment, from singing to hosting game shows. Before we dive into the legend that is Hollywood Squares, I wanted to chat with you about That's Incredible, a show that had some amazing and dangerous acts. During one of the episodes, your co-host, Fran Tarkington, talked with a very young guest who is making headlines today. Let's take a look at that clip.
This is Eldrick Tiger Woods, and Eldrick is an accomplished golfer. He wins tournaments on a regular basis and has shot close to par on 18-hole courses. Incredibly, Tiger here is only 5 years old.
Wow. And Tiger is recovering in the hospital after his horrible car accident yesterday. What do you remember about Tiger being on the show, and what was he like at that young of an age?
Well, I must tell you, unfortunately, I just watched the clip after Fran had already done it. Kathy Lee Crosby and Fran and I did That's Incredible, but the secret to the show was this incredible production staff that put all these stories together. So often I would go out and interview people that Kathy Lee wasn't there, or Fran. So we all had different, because Tiger was a young sports figure, so Fran did that one. I was proud of That's Incredible when it celebrated human triumph over mental and physical obstacles. There were moments on That's Incredible when we had arguments, Kathy Lee and Fran and I, about the truth of what we were doing. We did some things that were clearly magicians and claiming that they had ESP or something, and they were just doing a magic trick. So it was controversial in that way, but I was very proud of the show. It was a top 5 show for 3 years. It was great.
John, thanks for being here, first of all, and I got to get back to Hollywood Squares because I know you guys had a blast on that show, sometimes at your expense, but we dug up a little clip I want to show you and then get your side of the story.
He cheated and looked at your card. I saw him looking at your card.
Oh.
He looked back at your card. I saw him look at your card.
I knew the answer.
No, wait just a minute.
Oh.
I saw him leaning back like this and looking at the card.
Check, please.
I knew looking at the card. I knew the answer. Right here.
I knew the
I gotta know what was going through your mind when that contestant took a dive.
I couldn't get my breath. I literally couldn't breathe. It was a April Fool's joke they played on me, and the whole studio audience knew that these were stunt people, that the girl was a stunt lady and the guy, so they were in on it. And all the stars in the big apparatus, the big tic-tac-toe board across from me, they all knew it. But I was just blown away. I thought she'd killed him. She pushed him backwards off of our pedestal, which is it's like 12, 13 feet.
Whoa.
And he fell onto a mattress. So it just scared the hell out of me. I love doing squares because I got to meet a lot of famous people without going to Hollywood parties. And maybe I didn't go to enough Hollywood parties. I don't know. I was the second host of Squares. The first host, of course, is the classic Peter Marshall, who's now 92 and a half, I think, almost 93, and doing great. And I was the second host after I used to guest on the show with Paul Lynde and Karen Valentine and all Wally Cox and all the greats. And then I got to host it in the 80s for a period of time. And then Tom Bergeron was the third host. So it's a proven format. All the stars were given jokes to do, but they weren't given the questions. And my center square, when I hosted it with Joan Rivers, and Tom Bergeron's center square was Whoopi Goldberg. So it's a proven format. It was a lot of fun.
All right, well, John, I'm sensing a theme here. I'm sensing that a lot of times, a lot of people want to give you a hard time. So we found this clip from the show of another guest that liked to give you a hard time.
Can you believe this, huh? Here we are. Hello, squares. By the way, I'm told to hold this up.
What is that?
It's John's book, My Story, the whole story by John Davidson, a collection of his wit. Notice how thin the book is. We're moving on.
Now, tell us, John, was Alf your most difficult guest?
No, he was great. Alf, the guy who did Alf, was just so clever that just made him, and I think he had his own series at the time, and I think we kind of helped to launch Alf's career. So I was kind of proud of that. Very, very clever guy.
And I just love how you don't take yourself seriously. It's so becoming, and I think that's why so many people became a fan of you, is because you never got offended and always in on the joke. You truly are a jack of all trades, and I know the pandemic has stopped you from performing for now. So what's next? In about 30 seconds, because we're running out of time, any big projects that are in the works for you this year?
Oh, just live performing. I sing with my guitar and my banjo, and I do a live show. I'm developing a supper club experience in Sandwich, New Hampshire, where I live, and I'm calling it Club Sandwich.
I love it.
Seemed like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing my live show there starting this summer, when COVID-19 is hopefully gone.
Yeah, we hope so. And I hope that we can somehow go out and see you perform. You have such an incredible voice.
I want to eventually live in Sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, John, thank you so much for joining us here in DBL. And to our DBL Nation, to see everything that John is up to, visit his website, johndavidson.com. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
We'll be right back.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Closed captioning provided by...
Jerry, you in that fat butt? Jerry?
At DBL, we're always on.
I'm in control. You're trying to give a conversation up here.
Shouldn't he be held accountable?
Absolutely.
This is where I'm going to push back. Is this my shocked face?
Tori, I will walk up the set.
You should.
This February, DBL is all new.
I agree with Al on this one.
Every day.
Yeah, wow, I said it, Tori. Yo.
I'm in control, 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 control.
Welcome back to DBL. Martha Stewart admits she has mixed feelings about the MeToo movement. In an interview with Harper's Bazaar, Martha says while many of the famous men who have been accused of sexual misconduct are guilty, she says others who she knows well were wrongly accused because of their, quote, awful personalities. Martha did not name names, but she has worked with people like former Today Show co-host Matt Lauer, who was fired in 2017 after being accused of sexual misconduct, and also disgraced chef Mario Batali, who is facing criminal charges of sexual misconduct. He made a number of appearances, if you remember, on her old show, Martha, between 2005 and 2008. So what do we think of, Jeff, of her summation of the Me Too movement and how some people maybe just have awful personalities?
I don't understand why. You know, on this show, sometimes I challenge the opposite side just to make good conversation, and it doesn't turn out well for me. Martha, I think, has a lot going for her, and to challenge that movement, particularly for people who she says doesn't have even great personalities, why are you sticking up for these men? I don't think it's the right time. I appreciate challenging anything, not just this movement, but I don't think it's the right time, and I just ask why.
Erica, go ahead.
I was going to ask Erica, what does she think?
Well, I think I'm pontificating or speculating as to why Martha Stewart would say something like this, because she was the poster child for insider trading when everyone was insider trading, and she really had to take the consequences for that.
That's interesting.
And that narrative was really blown out in the media. And so I think she just has a very different perspective of what happens when your narrative is told by the media.
I also think, too, Erica and Al, is the fact that she said in the article, listen, these men had awful personalities, but they never, treated me a certain way. Just because a specific person, though, doesn't treat a specific individual like Martha Stewart a certain way or weren't inappropriate with her doesn't mean that they weren't inappropriate with other people. And I wish she would have prefaced her statement by specifically saying my experience.
Well, yeah, and
she
Sam,
didn't.
that's the flaw in the argument, because a lot of men will say that, like, well, he never did anything around me. Of course, but I do think we can extract from this flawed argument that she's making a larger conversation, and it has to do with whether we're talking about, the death penalty, where there's some people that have clearly done it and deserve to be punished, and some people that are innocent. It's the same with anything. When you have a big net, you're going to get a lot of people, and you're going to get some people in that shouldn't be in there, and you're going to miss some people that are going to be in there. And it's hard. It's a hard fact of life, but we have to accept that, and it's terrible. It's just hard to accept.
Great analogy. Coming up on DBL, you know her from the hit sitcoms Punky Brewster and Family Matters. We're talking live with actress Cherie Johnson.
Yes.
Coming up next.
Valentine's Day might be over, but DBL is helping one lucky viewer keep the romance alive. We're giving away a luxurious date night at home, valued at more than $1,600. From silk sheets to luxurious robes, from relaxing facials to loungewear and designer shoes, we're even throwing in decadent chocolate and wine. Head to our website, dailyblastlive.com, to enter. The giveaway ends February 26th, so enter now.
We all know that.
Freezing temperatures and winter weather can mean more than just power outages and burst pipes. It could also mean more potholes. Let's connect the dots. Winter weather is one of the main causes of the dreaded pothole. That's because roads are more than just asphalt on the surface. That is just the top layer. Underneath is a thick layer of rocks and soil. Sometimes when it rains, that water can seep below the asphalt. When freezing temperatures hit, the water under the road's surface expands, shifting stuff around, and when it melts, the pressure from something like, say, a car can cave in the pavement, creating a pothole. It gets really bad when you get into a cycle of freezing and thawing. The afternoon sun can melt the water while colder temperatures at night freeze it again. It creates a cycle where the subsurface of the road is constantly shifting and can create some pretty massive potholes. And while salt can help keep ice and snow off roads, it can also make the pothole problem worse. That's because it lowers the freezing temperature of water, which means you can sometimes increase the frequency of the freezing and thawing cycle when extreme cold hits. All this can lead to a pretty bumpy ride by the time spring arrives.
Welcome back to DBL. 30 years ago, Cherie Johnson and Soleil Moon Frye were best friends, and Punky Brewster, I think I've seen every episode. Today, Cherie joins us to celebrate the show's revival. Before we say hello, let's take a peek at what Punky Power looks like 30 years later.
The original Punky Brewster came from such a genuine place that we're together again, coming from that place. This is not about work for us. It's about coming and playing with your best friend every day. To be here together now, it feels like magic.
Oh my gosh, there she is, Cherie Johnson. I'm fangirling. Welcome to DBL.
Thank you so much.
Love you. Before we get into Punky Brewster, we know that you worked with Gary Coleman years ago in Playing with Fire, and he definitely made an impact on you then, but also as an adult. Can you tell us about your gas station encounter? I think our DBL viewers would be fascinated by it.
Yes, I saw Gary just, randomly at the gas station one day, and he said, "Baby, I need you to do me a favor. Make sure that one day you take some time away and you leave, move away from Hollywood, live your life and do something besides from entertainment." So I did. After I had my baby, it sounded like a really good idea. I moved away and decided I was going to semi-retire and maybe work like 1 or 2 projects a year, but I was going to concentrate on just being mom and living a regular life for a little while.
Wow, you took his advice and you ran with it, and then here you are more than 30 years later, Punky Brewster and her bestie, all grown up. Let's take a quick look at where it all began.
You know what, Punky? You're my idol. I am? Yeah, just think. You got your own apartment. You can stay up as late as you want, and you don't have to go to school.
Wow. So who have Cherie and Punky grown up to be? Tell us.
We are amazing women in our mid-40s. I will say that Cherie has grown up to be a social worker, still very inspired by Punky. She is spending her days making sure that children get placed in the right homes, either with foster parents or to become adopted. Cherie is in a queer relationship with a beautiful actress who's played Jessica Nicole. She plays Lauren. And she's an attorney, so Cherie is definitely dating up and doing well for herself.
Yes.
Punky.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish. I was just gonna I was gonna jump on that too, because your character's considered queer in the new show, but in the 80s, you and Punky were kind of the first interracial couple/duo. So it's kind of groundbreaking, right?
So we've heard, but we never thought about that in the 80s. We were just 2 girls who loved each other. And that's all that we ever really thought about. But yes, Punky Brewster has always been innovative, groundbreaking, and tackling those hard conversations that a lot of people don't have in their homes until they watch the show, and then they have no other choice but to speak about things with their kids.
All right, Cherie, Al Jackson here. I have to say, you look amazing. You have not aged a day. I mean, that's like, no, we can't sit here to act like she's not Benjamin buttoning it on this. Like you're getting young. What is this? What do you need to have your own face serum. Like you're very young. Good for you. All right.
Okay, Al.
All right. Now Sam's gonna get on me now. Now you played Maxine Johnson on Family Matters, and obviously there was one episode that dealt with racial profiling when it just wasn't being talked about at all. And even as a teenager, you ended up actually experiencing it. Can you tell us a little bit about that interaction?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think most Black teenagers experienced it. It wasn't anything new. Unfortunately, it was something that people didn't speak about publicly. I grew up in a small town of Westlake Village in Ventura County, and the Ventura County sheriffs and the Malibu sheriffs at the time were very well known for racial profiling. It's what they did. It wasn't a secret. It's still not a secret. But there was a time in my life where every day I left to just go to school, I was pulled over.
Wow.
I was pulled over, oftentimes proned out of the car. They wanted to search my car. They always had different excuses as to why. But it was just a part of our day, every day.
Yeah, you know, our co-host who you're talking to has spoken, you know, many times about some of the altercations he's had, and it's something that Jeff and I, the two white people on the panel, have never had to experience. And because of people like you sharing that story and Al sharing his story, it allows hopefully our viewers to see the privilege of skin color. And I just thank you for being so forthright about that from such a young age. Before we let you go, we want you to tell us about your podcast, Cherie's World.
Yes. So people had started asking me, why don't I do reality shows? How come I'm like not really personable, letting people in my life? So Cherie's World is my way to kind of let you in on my world, to meet me and my friends in a different light. It's not really like behind the scenes, but it's more of just a conversation with friends instead of an interview type show.
I love that. That's our show.
Yeah, and I bring in people that everybody usually knows their names and faces, and they're very familiar with, and we talk about things that are going on in the world and things that are just important to us.
That is so cool. That is so cool. We want you to come on our show one day.
Yes.
After the pandemic. Come on and join our panel.
I would love it.
Yay, 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 yay. Make sure to check out Cherie's podcast and don't miss the premiere of Punky Brewster on Peacock.
Yes.
Thank you, Cherie, for being here with us. We appreciate you. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
I'm so excited for this interview. Joining us is legendary music photographer Rob Shanahan. So let me just ask you the main question. How does one go from being this kid in a small town Minnesota place to becoming the personal photographer of Ringo Starr? There wasn't like a posting in the paper. Like, how did you get there?
Well, it all goes back to dreams.
Pretty soon we're going to be leaving the cold and the snow behind as we enter warm weather and springtime. And for a lot of us, that means allergies. But amid a COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people on social media are wondering how to tell the symptoms apart. So let's verify. How can we tell the difference between COVID-19 symptoms and allergies? Here are our sources. Dr. Greg Poland, the director of the Mayo Vaccine Research Clinic, and Dr. Sarah Narayan, an allergist at Allergy West in Massachusetts.
It's a great question, and what I like about it is it's a really practical question that people are going to have to grapple with.
Let's look at the symptoms like this in a Venn diagram between those likely from allergies but not COVID, those likely with COVID but not allergies, and those that can pop up with both.
On the allergy side, we're listing sneezing, we're listing itchy, watery eyes.
Itchy eyes, itchy nose, those are not features of COVID.
On the COVID side, I would list the fever.
Shortness of breath, diarrhea, joint and muscle aches, loss of taste and smell.
Those are all things that we rarely see with allergies.
And then in the middle, which could happen with either one, would be other mild symptoms that somebody might have, like fatigue or headache.
Can just feel yucky.
And if you're feeling those symptoms in the middle of the Venn diagram, our experts say you should start with allergy meds.
If taking allergy medication relieves your symptoms, that's highly unlikely to be COVID related.
And of course, if you want to be 100% sure, you could always just take a COVID test to make sure you're negative. Reporting with your Verify, this is Evan Kozloff.
This February, DBL is all new every day.
No, hold on.
you a question.
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Really? Okay.
Like, it is such a joke. I was shocked.
I meant for you to chime in on.
I don't know what you're saying.
DBL is just getting started.
Here come the Pistons.
I love this story.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Tomorrow on DBL, our friend and OG Double Dare host Mark Summers is joining us live for a virtual game you cannot miss. It's our series Classic Game Show Hosts, Where Are They Now? And rock star secrets you've never heard before from the photographer who got up close and personal.
Gives me chills thinking about that.
That's tomorrow only on DBL.
I cannot wait. Welcome back to DBL. How far can your car actually make it after the empty gas light comes on? Uh-oh, this is close to home for me. We're chatting about it in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. First, every car is different, but you generally have to have between 30 to 50 miles of gas left after the light comes on. Second, don't always trust the miles to empty reading. It's only an approximation. Lastly, think of where you are on the road when the light comes on. If you're stuck on the freeway, you'll be consuming more gas than usual. For peace of mind, get an auto protection plan from CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote.
Sam, you have a story.
Well, I never run out of gas, but in the last month, I've ran out of gas twice. One was by my house and I walked. One was by my house, Erica and I walked. The second one was last week, and I was on the freeway and I was on a very important pitch phone call, Erica.
Hollywood.
So when I ran out of gas, when I ran out of gas, Erica, I did not say a word. I just putted over to the side, finished my pitch. 20 minutes later, cars zooming by me, and then called my husband for help.
That's a professional.
Erica, have you ever...
I'm gonna need you to stop at the gas station, okay?
Thank you.
A full tank gives me life.
Both can be true.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.
About today on Daily Blast Live.
New details on Tiger Woods as he recovers from a horrible crash. Plus, A first responder describes the heart-stopping moments on scene.
He told me his name was Tiger, and at that moment I immediately recognized him.
A mom with an OnlyFans account says her kids were kicked out of school over her racy online photos. Was it bullying by other parents that led to this? Our classic game show hosts Where Are They Now series continues with John Davidson from Hollywood Squares. He's live on DBL today. And a special edition of True Crime Chronicles with JonBenet Ramsey's half-brother speaking out. Will her killer ever be caught?
To that person that might know something, this is not your burden to carry.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, February 24th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Miss Erica joining us from home. Okay, so we've been following the latest on Tiger Woods' horrible rollover crash. The golf legend is awake, responsive, and recovering from a shattered leg. Surgeons inserted a rod with pins and screws to rebuild his shin and calf bones as well as his ankle. The road he was driving on in LA is notorious for accidents. TMZ Sports got this video just before the crash, showing Tiger in the SUV traveling along the winding road minutes before. Now, the first responder on the scene described on the Today Show what it was like discovering it was Tiger. Take a look.
I asked him, hey, can you tell me your first name? He looked at me and he said, Tiger. And it took me a half second, but I saw his face and I thought, oh yeah, you're Tiger Woods.
So there are reports that Tiger was in a rush to meet NFL players Drew Brees and Justin Herbert for a golf TV tee time before the crash. And many are wondering what his injuries will mean for his career now. What do you think, Al?
I hope it's the end of his career.
What do you mean?
I hope it's the end of his career. I'll tell you why. I watched that Tiger Woods documentary, and it seemed like a person that had golf down pat. That's all he knows, and he is arguably the best person to ever do golf. We got that part of his life. But if you watch that documentary, you also saw that there was a lot of voids. He had issues with relationships with women. He was kind of distant with his kids. He was distant from the other golfers. He was detached from life. I hope now, Jeff, that this is his excuse, his reason, even if he needs to be pushed out of the door, to get ready to do the next 2/3 of his life, which is having more money than he can spend, having beautiful children, and having somebody that he cares about, and working on his addictions day to day. So he's entertained me enough. He's entertained the world enough. Now it's time for him to live his life.
See, I kind of think the opposite, man. First of all, the documentary he wasn't a part of, which I have a problem with. I've said it on the show before. Second of all, I think it's such a big part of his life that he needs it to move on. He needs a goal to recover from this, right? I'm a big Tiger fan. I'm a fan of what he did in the sport, I should say. And he's going to recover from this. He had multiple back surgeries. He came back and won the Masters. He needs this. He needs a goal in his life. With golf, it's not like you're putting your body through football, Al. He could golf on his senior tour. He doesn't have to be a top 100 player. As long as it's in his life, that's what his son's doing right now. As long as he's there for his son to teach him a little bit, I hope he recovers. I hope everything's right. But we were touching on this earlier, Sam, the addiction part of it.
Yeah, what I'm worried about, Erica, is, one of the things that I look at Tiger for inspiration is how, just recently we learned what a treacherous and tumultuous road it's been for him, considering all the surgeries he has had, which he has said, his very own words, led to the addiction to painkillers. So now that he's going to be coming out of this hospital with excruciating pain, he's going to have to rely on those painkillers again. So I just hope that he has the right support around him so that he does not see history repeat itself.
I just think it's too early to really make such broad speculations, especially about someone who has a past with addiction. That was the first thing that everyone
It's never too early. It's never too early with people with addiction.
Well, I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, when we're having this conversation now, there's a lot of factors that we don't know for sure, and I think that it actually does it doesn't do a great service to anyone who has struggled with addiction or anything else, because the automatic implication is that this is what happened because this was their past. if there's a road to redemption, then why do we always have to bring up every past thing that happened to someone in order to justify what's happening today?
Well,
I
let me
don't
clarify
think that's
what I
fair.
said, because I never painted a picture that he currently is using. And I'm very delicate with that when it comes to addiction. So let me clear that statement.
I think we were saying it more in concern.
My point was, yes, if you are in the hospital now and you are going to be given treatment, I just hope and pray, and I'm sure that he does, he has everybody surrounding him to make sure that he doesn't become dependent on those pain pills that he will be given in the hospital. That is my point. I just want to be crystal clear about it. Okay, so conspiracy theories on the internet are nothing new, but they've definitely become much more common lately. The latest conspiracy theory that's taken off on TikTok is about the snowstorms in Texas. They claim that the snow that fell last week was actually planted by the government. Yeah, some have even put this quote, government snow, to test it in the videos, like this one that's been viewed more than 3 million times.
Someone said do it with a blow dryer. Plugged in, on. Go get snow. Here we go. Highest setting, hot. Not melting.
What the?
No drip.
No drip.
No drip. Not dripping. Still a snowball.
Boom.
Okay, so there's another video where she tries to melt a snowball with a candle flame, but the snowball turns black. So what's going on here with the snow, okay? Why many people are so quick to think that the government is somehow responsible, it turns out science has an explanation. It's called sublimation. Sublimation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is when a solid, like snow or ice, skips the liquid phase, goes directly to gas. That's why you're not seeing any drops coming off the snowball. It's just becoming water vapor. I get, Erica, that the video is wacky, but come on, Erica. Come on, Erica. The government? Snow?
Well, Sam, what's happened in the past week? We're approaching the 1-year anniversary of everyone being in quarantine, okay? My big mama would say, idle hands are the devil's workshop, but idle minds create crimes against humanity, okay? Everyone is just have entirely too much time on their hands. All these conspiracy theories, it's insane. It's insane.
I just think that Bunsen burner Becky gets 3 million views, but a doctor that goes to school for 15 years is like, hey, maybe you should do this. Everyone's like, he's a quack. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Where are we?
I taught 7th grade science. Sublimation was on our tests. If you paid attention in my class, you would have known that.
Obviously, I didn't pay attention because I couldn't even
And also,
pronounce
how'd the government make it cold?
That's a lot of faith in the government.
That's part of it, too.
Coming up on DBL, singer, actor, entertainer, and game show host John Davidson is joining us live. You do not want to miss this. Plus, a special edition of True Crime Chronicles. JonBenet Ramsey's half-brother is here and pleading with you to help solve the mystery all these years later. And a mom's sexy social media post got her kids expelled from Catholic school. Should they be punished for their mother's actions? Interesting debate coming up next.
Jerry, you in that fat butt? Jerry?
Shadow Stevens and Hello Square.
I'll agree with that.
That's it. I don't know why, but circle gets a
At DBL, we're always on.
I'm in control.
trying to give a conversation up here.
Shouldn't he be held accountable?
Absolutely.
This is where I'm going to push back.
Is this my shocked face?
Tori, I will walk off the set.
You should.
This February, DBL is all new.
I agree with Al on this one.
Every day.
Yeah, wow, I said it, Tori. Yo.
Welcome back to DBL. A California mom says her 3 kids were expelled from Catholic school after her racy pics were discovered online. And a warning, some of these images contain adult content. Crystal Jackson says she makes more than $150,000 a month posting photos on the subscription-based site OnlyFans. But after a group of moms found out about her side gig, they informed the school. Crystal said her kids should not be punished for the pictures which were taken by her husband. The school says her involvement in the adult website is in direct conflict with its values. Okay, Erica, do you think that these kids should be expelled for their mom's behavior? What do you think?
I think these are some hating butt moms, okay? No, I don't think that they should be expelled. As someone who went to Catholic school is expensive, so good for her for being able to put her children through school the way that she knows how. But how did these women even stumble across these images? You would have to have an account or, their husband stumbled across the images, and that's why we got a problem right now.
Erica, I mean, you hit it on the head. First of all, $150,000 a month.
She doesn't make that much
money. You don't buy it.
Jeff, I do.
$150,000 a month.
She has 500,000 followers. If everybody gives you $4 a month, you can get there real quick. That's what the subscription service, people with OnlyFans make a ton of money, and that's where a lot of celebrities make their money now, is OnlyFans. So I could see it, and I think she's...
Let me give the other side. Now, I agree with Erica because I wouldn't want to raise my kids judging. However, if this school, because it's private, Erica and Jeff, because it's Catholic and it has its own code of conduct, and you go into that school knowing what that code of conduct is, knowing that it's private and religious, if you break the rules, let's put what that rule is aside, but if you break the rules, that's the consequence.
So if you're in some sort of drug affiliation, organized crime, and you're contributing to the school, they're going to throw you out? I don't think so.
And is it the parents' code of conduct or the kids' code of conduct?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I doubt it's the kids.
You shouldn't be responsible. You shouldn't be responsible for your parents' actions.
I'm just told by the producers that it's the school's code of conduct. So what they're doing, if you're involved in adult entertainment, that violates the school's code of conduct, according to our producers.
Yes.
All right. Well, we are out of time, but great conversation. We'll be right back.
This was when...
Welcome back to DBL. JonBenet Ramsey's death is one of the most infamous unsolved murders ever. An unreleased audio diaries from a detective is offering a fresh perspective. Here is a sneak peek of the new Discovery Plus documentary in True Crime Chronicles.
JonBenet Ramsey was a bright and loving 6-year-old girl. Her family albums were filled with happy memories of spending time with her parents and her siblings. She had an older brother, Burke, half-brother John Andrew, and 2 half-sisters, Melinda and Elizabeth. JonBenet was also a pageant queen who followed in her mother's footsteps. She thrived in the spotlight and took home several titles, including Little Miss Colorado. Everything seemed normal, but something happened on December 25th, 1996 that no one has been able to figure out.
911 emergency. We got a kidnapping. There's a ransom note here. Okay, what's your name? Are you Kathy Ramsey? I'm the mother.
JonBenet was missing, and a ransom note was left behind. Her parents and Burke were the only ones home. The other siblings lived out of state. Police searched the home, and shortly later, JonBenet's father finds her dead in their basement. Her mouth and neck were covered with duct tape, and her body was concealed under a blanket. Autopsy reports revealed she was bound, strangled, struck on the head, and sexually assaulted. John brought his daughter's body upstairs, tainting much of the evidence. The whole world was watching while the Boulder Police Department investigated, and they were widely criticized for their mishandling of the case and not properly containing the crime scene. After 3 months without an arrest, top Colorado Springs detective Lou Smith was called out of retirement to help.
My dad was working on the Ramsey case. He kept an audio diary.
Although he's no longer alive, he left those tapes with his family, hoping they could crack the case.
This is Lou Smith. I had heard about the case then. My kind of first impression was that maybe the Ramseys did do it.
Just like Boulder police and the media, Lou initially put the blame on the parents. But after a lot of digging and DNA testing, he formed a different theory.
There is evidence of an intruder. I say this over and over again. Nobody wants to listen.
He presented his evidence to Boulder PD, but as his audio tapes depict, no one cared.
You can't discount it. Just because you don't like it and it doesn't fit your theory, you can't work a case that way. You've got to follow the evidence, and that's what he was doing.
The evidence was foreign DNA found on JonBenet's body.
This foreign DNA does not belong to Patsy, for sure. Now, it is male. They cannot say who it is.
But police didn't find that relevant, and the media was fixated on the parents being responsible.
So in other words, if they want to continue to throw that away, and yet that's one of the most important things in this case.
Lou's tapes examine evidence and debunk theories to uncover what he believes is the truth.
The truth is being hidden and warped.
So what really happened to JonBenet? And is her killer still out there?
The killer's out there. I know that we can't catch him.
Earlier, Al, Jeff, and I spoke with JonBenet's half-brother. Here's what he had to say about his sister's case. We are here with John Andrew Ramsey, JonBenet's half-brother. Thank you so much for coming here on DBL. I can't imagine what you and your family have gone through over the past 24 years. So my deepest condolences for a tragedy that I feel like continues because everyone is fixated or fascinated by it, and that just must be so strange for you. In fact, 24 years of no answers. What have these past few decades been like for you and your family?
Yeah, it's been frustrating. Our family's obviously been under suspicion, and the police have been solely focused on our family, and we would like to see the police focus on finding the real killer, JonBenet, and we've been working tirelessly to do that ourselves, but we're limited in what we can do.
So you were 20 when this all happened. What do you remember most about JonBenet, and what do you remember most about that day you found out what happened to your sister?
Yeah, JonBenet, I think it's important to remember, was just a 6-year-old little kid in kindergarten. And that day was it was a terrible, terrible day, and really was a tsunami of trauma. Right? I mean, the initial wave, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
The Boulder Police Department was widely criticized for their handling or mishandling of this case. Do you believe that they overlooked the facts? Like, just honestly, what do you think happened that day?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Boulder police made a snap judgment on day one and then tried to find facts and evidence to support that initial conclusion, and they just weren't there. And unfortunately, that has deflected away from actually looking and searching for the killer, who has most likely gone on to victimize more people.
Yeah, I can't imagine what you and your family have been through. I mean, your parents were considered suspects for years, to your point, before they were cleared. Your family should have been focusing on coping with that tsunami of trauma, like you said. Instead, there was blame from not only the police, but the media as well. How did that impact you all?
It's maddening. That focus was misguided. We wish the investigation would look outside the family and look for the killer, JonBenet. It's simple as that.
This is still an active case. I mean, people are fascinated by this case. It's still active. I know you and your family are still very hopeful that they're going to catch whoever did do this. What can people do to contribute to this case? And in your own mind, do you think they are going to find somebody?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, this case can be solved. We have a mountain of evidence. DNA technology has vastly improved since 1996. If somebody out there knows something, and it's possible they called in the police early on and never got a call back, but to that person that might know something, this is not your burden to carry. Please come forward.
So your sister's story is the subject of a new documentary on Discovery Plus, where we hear exclusive audio diaries from homicide detective Lou Smith, who presented new theories. Do you think that could help lead to new answers or even an arrest? Is that possible?
Yeah, the family's objective in doing these documentaries is to find the killer. And every time we do this, and every time we are on TV, we're hoping, spurs someone to come forward with new information. And we can find the killer. That's why we do this.
John Andrew, thank you so much for being here. I know it's got to be difficult talking about it every single time somebody reaches out, but I understand your goal is to find JonBenet Ramsey's killer, and so it's part of it. I'm so sorry. To hear more from him and learn more about this case, you can watch the new documentary, JonBenet Ramsey, What Really Happened. It's streaming now on Discovery Plus. Thank you again. We'll be right back.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
I'm so excited for this interview. Joining us is legendary music photographer Rob Shanahan. So let me just ask you the main question. How does one go from being this kid in a small town Minnesota place to becoming the personal photographer of Ringo Starr? There wasn't like a posting in the paper. Like, how did you get there?
Well, it all goes back to dreams.
Pretty soon we're going to be leaving the cold and the snow behind as we enter warm weather and springtime. And for a lot of us, that means allergies. But amid a COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people on social media are wondering how to tell the symptoms apart. So let's verify. How can we tell the difference between COVID-19 symptoms and allergies? Here are our sources. Dr. Greg Poland, the director of the Mayo Vaccine Research Clinic, and Dr. Sarah Narayan, an allergist at Allergy West in Massachusetts.
It's a great question, and what I like about it is it's a really practical question that people are going to have to grapple with.
Let's look at the symptoms like this in a Venn diagram. Between those likely from allergies but not COVID, those likely with COVID but not allergies, and those that can pop up with both.
On the allergy side, we're listing sneezing, we're listing itchy, watery eyes.
Itchy eyes, itchy nose, those are not features of COVID.
On the COVID side, I would list the fever.
Shortness of breath, diarrhea, joint and muscle aches, loss of taste and smell.
Those are all things that we rarely see with allergies.
And then in the middle, which could happen with either one, would be other mild symptoms that somebody might have, like fatigue or headache.
Can just feel yucky.
And if you're feeling those symptoms in the middle of the Venn diagram, our experts say you should start with allergy meds.
If taking allergy medication relieves your symptoms, that's highly unlikely to be COVID related.
And of course, if you want to be 100% sure, you could always just take a COVID test to make sure you're negative. Reporting with your Verify, this is Evan Kozlov.
This February, DBL is all new every day.
Hold on.
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Really? Okay. Like, it is such a joke. I was shocked.
I meant for you to chime in on. I don't know what you're saying. DBL is just getting started.
Here come the Pistons.
I love this story.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Tomorrow on DBL, our friend and OG Double Dare host Mark Summers is joining us live for a virtual game you cannot miss. It's our series Classic Game Show Hosts, Where Are They Now? And rock star secrets you've never heard before from the photographer who got up close and personal.
Gives me chills thinking about that.
That's tomorrow only on DBL.
Ooh, can't miss it. If you're leaving us, you can catch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. But if you're staying with us, here's what's coming up. Iconic game show host and entertainer John Davidson joins us live from Hollywood Squares.
Yes.
That's incredible. And everything in between. We're talking about it all. DBL is new every day. We will be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. Today we are continuing our week-long series, Classic Game Show hosts. Where are they now? He appeared on the Johnny Carson Show more than any other singer ever. He starred on Broadway, in movies and TV. On top of that, when it comes to game shows, he is the face of the 1980s, from That's Incredible to Time Machine to Hollywood Squares. You'd have to be living under a rock to not know the name John Davidson. And today he is joining us live.
Yes.
Yes, John. Hi, welcome to DBL. Before we dive...
Hi, gang. Congratulations on the show. It's going well.
Thank you. Yeah, we feel pretty lucky. We love what we do. Just like, you know, you've always loved entertainment, from singing to hosting game shows. Before we dive into the legend, that is Hollywood Squares, I wanted to chat with you about That's Incredible, a show that had some amazing and dangerous acts. During one of the episodes, your co-host, Fran Tarkington, talked with a very young guest who is making headlines today. Let's take a look at that clip.
This is Eldrick Tiger Woods, and Eldrick is an accomplished golfer. He wins tournaments on a regular basis and has shot close to par on 18-hole courses. Incredibly, Tiger here is only 5 years old.
Wow. And you know, Tiger is recovering in the hospital after his horrible car accident yesterday. What do you remember about Tiger being on the show, and what was he like at that young of an age?
Well, I must tell you, unfortunately, I just watched the clip after Fran had already done it. Kathy Lee Crosby and Fran and I did That's Incredible, but the secret to the show was this incredible production staff that put all these stories together. So often I would go out and interview people that Kathy Lee wasn't there, or Fran. So we all had different, because Tiger was a young sports figure, so Fran did that one. I was proud of That's Incredible when it celebrated human triumph over mental and physical obstacles. There were moments on That's Incredible when we had arguments, Kathy Lee and Fran and I, about the truth of what we were doing. We did some things that were clearly magicians and claiming that they had ESP or something, and they were just doing a magic trick. So it was controversial in that way, but I was very proud of the show. It was a top 5 show for 3 years. It was great.
John, thanks for being here, first of all, and I got to get back to Hollywood Squares because I know you guys had a blast on that show, sometimes at your expense, but we dug up a little clip I want to show you and then get your side of the story.
He cheated and looked at your card. I saw him looking at your card.
Oh.
He looked back at your card. I saw him look at your card.
I knew the answer.
No, wait just a minute.
Oh.
I saw him leaning back like this and looking at the card.
Check, please.
I knew, looking at the card.
I knew the answer.
Right here.
I knew the
I gotta know what was going through your mind when that contestant took a dive.
I couldn't get my breath. I literally couldn't breathe. It was a April Fool's joke they played on me, and the whole studio audience knew that these were stunt people, that the girl was a stunt lady and the guy, so they were in on it. And all the stars in the big apparatus, the big tic-tac-toe board across from me, they all knew it. But I was just blown away. I thought she'd killed him. She pushed him backwards off of our pedestal, which is it's like 12, 13 feet.
Whoa.
And he fell onto a mattress. So it just scared the hell out of me. I love doing squares because I got to meet a lot of famous people without going to Hollywood parties. And maybe I didn't go to enough Hollywood parties. I don't know. I was the second host of Squares. The first host, of course, is the classic Peter Marshall, who's now 92 and a half, I think, almost 93, and doing great. And I was the second host after I used to guest on the show with Paul Lynde and Karen Valentine and all Wally Cox and all the greats. And then I got to host it in the 80s for a period of time. And then Tom Bergeron was the third host. So it's a proven format. all the stars were given jokes to do, but they weren't given the questions. And my center square, when I hosted it with Joan Rivers and Tom Bergeron, center square was Whoopi Goldberg. So it's a proven format and it was a lot of fun.
All right, well, John, I'm sensing a theme here. I'm sensing that a lot of times, a lot of people want to give you a hard time. So we found this clip from the show of another guest that like to give you a hard time.
Can you believe this, huh? Here we are. Hello, squares. By the way, I'm told to hold this up.
What is that?
It's John's book, My Story, the whole story by John Davidson, a collection of his wit. Notice how thin the book is. We're moving on.
Now, tell us, John, was Alf your most difficult guest?
No, he was great. Alf, the guy who did Alf, was just so clever that just made him, you know. And I think he had his own series at the time, and I think we kind of helped to launch Alf's career. So I was kind of proud of that. Very, very clever guy.
And I just love how you don't take yourself seriously. It's so becoming, and I think that's why so many people became a fan of you, is because you never got offended and always in on the joke. You truly are a jack of all trades, and I know the pandemic has stopped you from performing for now. So what's next? In about 30 seconds, because we're running out of time, any big projects that are in the works for you this year?
Oh, just live performing. I sing with my guitar and my banjo, and I do a live show. I'm developing a supper club experience in Sandwich, New Hampshire, where I live, and I'm calling it Club Sandwich.
I love it.
Seemed like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing my live show there starting this summer, when COVID-19 is hopefully gone.
Yeah, we hope so. And I hope that we can somehow go out and see you perform. You have such an incredible voice.
I want to eventually live in Sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, John, thank you so much for joining us here in DBL. And to our DBL Nation, to see everything that John is up to, visit his website, johndavidson.com. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
We'll be right back.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Closed captioning provided by
Jerry, you in that fat butt? Jerry?
At DBL, we're always on.
I'm in control. We're trying to give a conversation up here.
Shouldn't he be held accountable?
Absolutely.
This is where I'm going to push back.
Is this my shocked face?
Tori, I will walk off the set.
You should.
This February, DBL is all new.
I agree with Al on this one.
Every day.
Yeah, wow, I said it, Tori. Yo.
I'm in control.
Welcome back to DBL. Martha Stewart admits she has mixed feelings about the MeToo movement. In an interview with Harper's Bazaar, Martha says while many of the famous men who have been accused of sexual misconduct are guilty, she says others who she knows well were wrongly accused because of their, quote, awful personalities. Martha did not name names, but she has worked with people like former Today Show co-host Matt Lauer, who was fired in 2017 after being accused of sexual misconduct, and also disgraced chef Mario Batali, who is facing criminal charges of sexual misconduct. He made a number of appearances, if you remember, on her old show, Martha, between 2005 and 2008. So what do we think of, Jeff, of her summation of the Me Too movement and how some people maybe just have awful personalities?
I don't understand why. You know, on this show, sometimes I challenge the opposite side just to make good conversation, and it doesn't turn out well for me. Martha, I think, has a lot going for her, and to challenge that movement, particularly for people who she says doesn't have even great personalities, why are you sticking up for these men? I don't think it's the right time. I appreciate challenging anything, not this movement, but I don't think it's the right time, and I just ask why.
Erica,
go ahead.
I was going to ask Erica, what does she think?
Well, I think I'm pontificating or speculating as to why Martha Stewart would say something like this, because she was the poster child for insider trading when everyone was insider trading, and she really had to take the consequences for that.
That's interesting.
And that narrative was really blown out in the media. And so I think she just has a very different perspective of what happens when your narrative is told by the media.
I also think, too, Erica and Al, is the fact that she said in the article, listen, these men had awful personalities, but they never, treated me a certain way. Just because a specific person, though, doesn't treat a specific individual like Martha Stewart a certain way or weren't inappropriate with her doesn't mean that they weren't inappropriate with other people. And I wish she would have prefaced her statement by specifically saying my experience.
Well, yeah, and
she
Sam,
didn't.
that's the flaw in the argument, because a lot of men will say that, like, well, he never did anything around me. Of course, but I do think we can extract from this flawed argument that she's making a larger conversation, and it has to do with whether we're talking about, the death penalty, where there are some people that have clearly done it and deserve to be punished, and some people that are innocent. It's the same with anything. When you have a big net, you're going to get a lot of people, and you're going to get some people in there that shouldn't be in there, and you're going to miss some people that are going to be in there. And it's hard. It's a hard fact of life, but we have to accept that, and it's terrible. It's just hard to accept.
Great analogy. Coming up on DBL, you know her from the hit sitcoms Punky Brewster and Family Matters. We're talking live with actress Cherie Johnson.
Yes.
Coming up next.
Valentine's Day might be over, but DBL is helping one lucky viewer keep the romance alive. We're giving away a luxurious date night at home, valued at more than $1,600. From silk sheets to luxurious robes, from relaxing facials to loungewear and designer shoes. We're even throwing in decadent chocolate and wine. Head to our website, dailyblastlive.com, to enter. The giveaway ends February 26th, so enter now.
We all know that movement is like...
Freezing temperatures and winter weather can mean more than just power outages and burst pipes. It could also mean more potholes. Let's connect the dots. Winter weather is one of the main causes of the dreaded pothole. That's because roads are more than just asphalt on the surface. That is just the top layer. Underneath is a thick layer of rocks and soil. Sometimes when it rains, that water can seep below the asphalt. When freezing temperatures hit, the water under the road's surface expands, shifting stuff around, and when it melts, the pressure from something like, say, a car can cave in the pavement, creating a pothole. It gets really bad when you get into a cycle of freezing and thawing. The afternoon sun can melt the water while colder temperatures at night freeze it again. It creates a cycle where the subsurface of the road is constantly shifting and can create some pretty massive potholes. And while salt can help keep ice and snow off roads, it can also make the pothole problem worse. That's because it lowers the freezing temperature of water, which means you can sometimes increase the frequency of the freezing and thawing cycle when extreme cold hits. All this can lead to a pretty bumpy ride by the time spring arrives.
Welcome back to DBL. 30 years ago, Cherie Johnson and Soleil Moon Frye were best friends, and Punky Brewster, I think I've seen every episode. Today, Cherie joins us to celebrate the show's revival. Before we say hello, let's take a peek at what Punky Power looks like 30 years later.
The original Punky Brewster came from such a genuine place that we're together again, coming from that place. This is not about work for us. This is about coming and playing with your best friend every day. To be here together now, it feels like magic.
Oh my gosh, there she is, Cherie Johnson. I'm fangirling. Welcome to DBL.
Thank you so much.
I love you. Before we get into Punky Brewster, we know that you worked with Gary Coleman years ago in Playing with Fire, and he definitely made an impact on you then, but also as an adult. Can you tell us about your gas station encounter? I think our DBL viewers would be fascinated by it.
Yes, I saw Gary just, randomly at the gas station one day, and he said, "Baby, I need you to do me a favor. Make sure that one day you take some time away and you leave, move away from Hollywood, live your life and do something besides from entertainment." So I did. After I had my baby, it sounded like a really good idea. I moved away and decided I was going to semi-retire and maybe work like 1 or 2 projects a year, but I was going to concentrate on just being mom and living a regular life for a little while.
Wow, you took his advice and you ran with it, and then here you are more than 30 years later, Punky Brewster and her bestie, all grown up. Let's take a quick look at where it all began.
You know what, Punky? You're my idol. I am? Yeah, just think. You got your own apartment. You can stay up as late as you want, and you don't have to go to school.
Wow. So who have Cherie and Punky grown up to be? Tell us.
We are amazing women in our mid-40s. I will say that Cherie has grown up to be a social worker, still very inspired by Punky. She is spending her days making sure that children get placed in the right homes, either with foster parents or to become adopted. Cherie is in a queer relationship with a beautiful actress who's played Jessica Nicole. She plays Lauren. And she's an attorney, so Cherie is definitely dating up and doing well for herself.
Yes.
Punky.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish. I was just gonna jump on that too, because your character's considered queer in the new show, but in the 80s, you and Punky were kind of the first interracial couple/duo. So it's kind of groundbreaking, right?
So we've heard, but we never thought about that in the 80s. We were just 2 girls who loved each other. And that's all that we ever really thought about. But yes, Punky Brewster has always been innovative, groundbreaking, and tackling those hard conversations that a lot of people don't have in their homes until they watch the show, and then they have no other choice but to speak about things with their kids.
All right, Cherie, Al Jackson here. I have to say, you look amazing. You have not aged a day. I mean, that's like, no, we can't sit here to act like she's not Benjamin buttoning it. She looks the same. Like you're getting young. What is this? What do you need to have your own face serum. Like you're very young. Good for you. All right.
Okay, Al.
All right. Now Sam's gonna get on me now. Now you played Maxine Johnson on Family Matters, and obviously there was one episode that dealt with racial profiling when it just wasn't being talked about at all. And even as a teenager, you ended up actually experiencing it. Can you tell us a little bit about that interaction?
Absolutely. I think most Black teenagers experienced it. It wasn't anything new. Unfortunately, it was something that people didn't speak about publicly. I grew up in a small town of Westlake Village in Ventura County, and the Ventura County sheriffs and the Malibu sheriffs at the time were very well known for racial profiling. It's what they did. It wasn't a secret. It's still not a secret. But there was a time in my life where every day I left to just go to school, I was pulled over.
Wow.
I was pulled over, oftentimes proned out of the car. They wanted to search my car. They always had different excuses as to why. But it was just a part of our day, every day.
Yeah, you know,
Because
our co-host who you're talking to has spoken, you know, many times about some of the altercations he's had, and it's something that Jeff and I, the two white people on the panel, have never had to experience. And because of people like you sharing that story and Al sharing his story, it allows hopefully our viewers to see the privilege of skin color. And I just thank you for being so forthright about that from such a young age. Before we let you go, we want you to tell us about your podcast, Cherie's World.
Yes. So people had started asking me, why don't I do reality shows? How come I'm like not really personable, letting people in my life? So Cherie's World is my way to kind of let you in on my world, to meet me and my friends in a different light. It's not really like behind the scenes, but it's more of just a conversation with friends instead of an interview type show.
I love that. That's our show.
Yeah, and I bring in people that everybody usually knows their names and faces and they're very familiar with. And we talk about things that are going on in the world and things that are just important to us.
That is so cool. That is so cool. We want you to come on our show one day.
Yes.
After the pandemic, come on and join our panel.
I would love it.
Yay, 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 yay. Make sure to check out Cherie's podcast and don't miss the premiere of Punky Brewster on Peacock.
Yes.
Thank you, Cherie, for being here with us. We appreciate you. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
I'm so excited for this interview. Joining us is legendary music photographer Rob Shanahan. So let me just ask you the main question. How does one go from being this kid in a small town Minnesota place to becoming the personal photographer of Ringo Starr? There wasn't like a posting in the paper. Like, how did you get there?
Well, it all goes back to dreams.
Pretty soon we're going to be leaving the cold and the snow behind as we enter warm weather and springtime. And for a lot of us, that means allergies. But amid a COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people on social media are wondering how to tell the symptoms apart. So let's verify. How can we tell the difference between COVID-19 symptoms and allergies? Here are sources. Dr. Greg Poland, the director of the Mayo Vaccine Research Clinic, and Dr. Sarah Narayan, an allergist at Allergy West in Massachusetts.
It's a great question, and what I like about it is it's a really practical question that people are going to have to grapple with.
Let's look at the symptoms like this in a Venn diagram between those likely from allergies but not COVID, those likely with COVID but not allergies, and those that can pop up with both.
On the allergy side, we're listing sneezing, we're listing itchy, watery eyes,
itchy nose. Those are not features of COVID.
On the COVID side, I would list the fever,
Shortness of breath, diarrhea, joint and muscle aches, loss of taste and smell.
Those are all things that we rarely see with allergies.
And then in the middle, which could happen with either one, would be other mild symptoms that somebody might have, like fatigue or headache.
Can just feel yucky.
And if you're feeling those symptoms in the middle of the Venn diagram, our experts say you should start with allergy meds.
If taking allergy medication relieves your symptoms, that's highly unlikely to be COVID related.
And of course, if you want to be 100% sure, you could always just take a COVID test to make sure you're negative. Reporting with your Verify, this is Evan Kozloff.
This February, DBL is all new every day.
No, hold on.
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Really? Okay.
Like, it is such a joke.
I was shocked.
How I meant for you to chime in on.
I don't know what you're saying.
DBL is just getting started.
Here come the Pistons.
I love this story.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Tomorrow on DBL, our friend and OG Double Dare host Mark Summers is joining us live for a virtual game you cannot miss. It's our series Classic Game Show Hosts, Where Are They Now? And rock star secrets you've never heard before from the photographer who got up close and personal.
Gives me chills thinking about that.
That's tomorrow only on DBL.
I cannot wait. Welcome back to DBL. How far can your car actually make it after the empty gas light comes on? Uh-oh, this is close to home for me. We're chatting about it in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. First, every car is different, but you generally have to have between 30 to 50 miles of gas left after the light comes on. Second, don't always trust the miles to empty reading. It's only an approximation. Lastly, think of where you are on the road when the light comes on. If you're stuck on the freeway, you'll be consuming more gas than usual. For peace of mind, get an auto protection plan from CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote.
Sam, you have a story.
Well, I never run out of gas, but in the last month, I've ran out of gas twice. One was by my house and I walked. One was by my house, Erica and I walked. The second one was last week, and I was on the freeway and I was on a very important pitch phone call, Erica.
Hollywood.
So when I ran out of gas, when I ran out of gas, Erica, I did not say a word. I just putted over to the side, finished my pitch. 20 minutes later, cars zooming by me, and then called my husband for help.
That's a professional.
Erica, have you ever...
I'm gonna need you to stop at the gas station, okay?
Thank you.
A full tank gives me life.
Both can be true.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Thank you.